With the first W tonight in Curbs, and I know this fan and this fan base here at Enterprise Center starting to fill up. A great crowd looking to see this rivalry. Although preseason, it's always fun to see these teams. Some young players, some old players. Heck, we got some Stanley Cup champions in the house, and Pat Maroon and Zach Sanford as we welcome them back to St. Louis as well.
From that standpoint, both teams are in very somewhat similar situations, trying to get back into the playoff relevance, trying to get young players to the next level. The Blues might be slightly ahead of where the Blackhawks are in terms of their processes, but the processes still are very similar between the two franchises.
You know, it's funny, I'm just talking to Troy Murray a few minutes ago, and he talked about how both these teams are looking to get back to the postseason. And, you know, we were kind of comparing notes and comparing players and comparing veterans, certainly comparing goaltenders. And to me, that's where I think the Blues are just a little bit ahead of Chicago right now. With Jordan Binnington, he's going to give you the ability to steal a game any single night. We are going to see him for a sample size, as well as Peter Mrazek. So goaltending certainly is going to be a big point to this whole season when you're looking at both of these teams looking to get back to the postseason.
Well, like I said, these two teams will meet next Saturday as well, and that will be up in Milwaukee, a neutral site game, and they've got a couple games each in between then and there as they try to sort out who will make the big clubs as training camp ends and the season begins on October 8th for both the Blues and the Blackhawks, both of them on the road. We'll be back in just a moment.
Blues fans, last Sunday, our city lost an 18-year veteran of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. Officer David Lee was responding to a car accident on Highway 70 when he was struck by an oncoming vehicle. Officer Lee was 44 years old and had a wife and 2 children. Now please join us in a moment of silence to honor the life and service of Officer David Lee. Thank you. Now the Blues and Boeing ask you to rise, remove your caps, and help in the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, performed tonight by Pershard Owens.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare and the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Enterprise Center. Joe Vitale alongside Chris Kerber. I have your Toyota starting lineup. So let's get down to ice level, beginning with the Blackhawks here. It'll be former Stanley Cup champion Pat Maroon starting on the left wing. He'll be joined by Andre Athanasiou and Samuel Savoie. On the back end, Kevin Korchinski will be alongside Alex Vlasic with Peter Mrazek in the cage. For the St. Louis Blues side, Jordan Binnington will be in the net. It'll be Alexandre Texier with Alexei Toropchenko and Nathan Walker. Scott Prunovich will be joined by P.O. Joseph. And this rounds out your starting lineup, brought to you by Toyota. You can visit your St. Louis area Toyota dealership today to test drive your favorite Toyota models. Toyota, let's go places.
Pat Maroon kind of going like Ray Bork. Started with number 7 and changing it to 77.
Yeah, the double 77, wearing an assistant captain A on his left shoulder. And weird to see him in a Blackhawks uniform. It'll take some time getting used to. We already have our first hiccup of the game. And referee just goes down right after the opening draw.
Nice. That's a good sign. That means gravity is working tonight at Enterprise Center.
That'll wake you up.
Puck dumped in by the Hawks down to our left. Maroon over to the far wing with it. Then loses an edge and spills, and a puck pulled away by the Blues, number 77. P.O. Joseph out to Walker at center. He dumps it in. Getting after it on the near side, Alex Vlasic for the Blackhawks. Has it in the corner and backhands over to the far wing. That puck goes over to Kevin Korchinski, the 20-year-old 6'1" defenseman, and the puck gets pulled away. Blues drop it back into the Hawk zone. Chicago, Phillips over to the far wing. That's rolled out to center. Radek Faksa wearing number 12 for the Blues. Gets the puck ahead. Chips it over the line. Matthew Joseph tries to get there. Can't in time. Taylor Hall brings it the other way, and that puck cleared out by Philip Kurashev. Coming around to Hall on the near wing. Lets it go to Isaac Phillips. His shot to the front of the net, blocked by Parayko, who then jumps out with Holloway. Now Joseph sweeps it over the line and into the corner. Holloway skates on behind the net, takes it all the way around the far side, wheels it up to the blue line, where that one eventually just poked out. And some solid patience by Kurashev, and then somebody lost a glove in the process.
Well, you have to love that previous play by Colton Parayko in his own D-zone curves. We've seen this so much. Not only fronts the puck, blocks the shot, and he's one of the first men leading up the charge.
Blues get it in. Dvorsky with a shot. That one goes off Del Mastro, up over the glass and out of play. You know, it's the second preseason game we've seen Colton Parayko, Joe, and that was one aspect of the game in Iowa. We saw a lot from him. Very quick to get the wheels moving and moving up ice.
Yeah, you know, he's got to have a good partner that's aware of it as well, because they're going to want him to be the horse. You want him to lead the rush. You want him to be that one-man breakout, but don't just watch the pass. Get going, get up the ice, be a middle lane drive. You know, even a middle lane drive, you're going to push defenders back, and it's going to start opening up spaces for your forwards. And again, off to a great start here tonight.
Blues fans get a chance to see Leo Loof in action here tonight. The puck out to Matthew Kessel. Sends it over the line, far wing. Dvorsky, near side. Brandon Saad, who won a Stanley Cup with the Chicago Blackhawks. Began his career with his great Original Six franchise, and then that puck gets dumped down and in. Over to the left wing, Blues send it out. Joseph chips it in. Saad rolls it down along the wing. They get the Puck to McGing, back to Saad, put it right on. Mrazek there to make the save. And a puck cleared down. Perunovic will get after it. A Hobie Baker winner.
Ooh, good
College's
right
top
there.
player.
Good smash right there. And you mentioned Scott Perunovic curbs, and just another big audition night for him. Whistle for offside. You know, we talked about a little bit in the pregame, but head coach Drew Bannister for the St. Louis Blues side talked about this group, and he was very, very blunt about a comment this morning that, you know, through 3 games, he's not sure if he's seen a lot of players go out and grab this thing and really look to take someone else's job. And if you're Scott Perunovic, if I'm wearing number 48 tonight, I feel like that's a direct quote right at me. So it's going to be very interesting to see what type of brand of hockey he brings here this evening.
It's just a lot of pressure to put on yourself. And somehow you still got to stay within yourself.
You do. It's you can't overextend yourself. You can't run out of control. It's a very, very fine balance for Scott Perunovic, and not a fun situation. As Hawks step offside one more time. You know, it's to your point. You know, if you're a Tyler Tucker and you just want to go run through a wall and just show that will side of things, but you know, this league, the players are so good. You run out of control, it's actually going to burn you. For Scott Perunovic, undersized defenseman, still trying to feel his way through the defensive side of the game. We all know how good he is with the puck. We know how he can be effective on the power play, but they just need to see what defensively this young man is capable of doing. And you're going up against some big boys here tonight. He'll probably get a lot of the Taylor Hall matchup, you know, and that's going to be an interesting, a little bit of a moment where they can kind of see how he's doing up against some NHL caliber players.
Hugh McGing off McEachran. Kaskamaki to the blue line. Joseph with a shot. It's knocked down. McEachran gets it off McGing to the far point. Perunovic with a quick shot blocked down into the corner. Korchinski will get to it for the Blackhawks. Send it out to Brett Cini, and he'll dump it down into the St. Louis zone. Joseph works it along the wing as Cini puts the battle on him. Walker chops it ahead along the boards. Athanasiou trying to hold it in a battle with Toropchenko. Over in front of the Blues bench. That comes out. Texier on the ice for the St. Louis Blues as well, wearing number 9. Blues acquired him from the Columbus Blue Jackets. They get it over the line. Parayko wheels it to the front of the net. On the wraparound! Right at the doorstep on the goal line. A stretching save from Mrazek.
Just a gorgeous save from Mrazek. You see him on that left post. He's hugging that post. He's got to respect the fact that Colton Parayko can shoot this puck in the near side corner. And just as he sees him going for the wrap, he's got to get off his rear end. He's got to make a hard push left to right. Boom. He makes that good hard push. I thought this one may have snuck in, but Mrazek gets there in time, shows the flexibility, and just keeps that out with his right toe. But once again, Colton Parayko jumping up in the mix.
Athanasiou on the draw against Walker, but the whistle blew and the linesman on the near side didn't like something he saw, so Walker gets the boot. Texier comes in. Now Texier was playing center when he was drafted, but his first year of pro in France, he was playing as a centerman. Then he went over to Finland, and they pretty much started using him as a winger ever since. So he's played it, as he told me, but he hasn't played it a lot. Texier has the puck along the near side, gets chopped down twice, still battles for the puck while he's belly on the ice. It's cleared out. Maroon will put the pressure on Nick Leddy. Current Hawk against a former Hawk, and then moving on for the Blackhawks, Samuel Savoie. Blues go back to get it from their own end. It's pulled away by Parayko up the middle to Toropchenko. The backhand ahead. Missed his man at the blue line. The Blues are offside. And play whistle dead on a hand pass as well. How about this one? So Texier, after 1 year of pro hockey in France, gets drafted by the Columbus Blue Jackets. The general manager at the time, of course, Jarmo Kekalainen, who was in charge of all the drafts here in St. Louis and the assistant GM for so long. Jarmo wanted him to move to Finland, play maybe where Jarmo had played. Texier's coach for 2 years while playing in Finland. Kasperi Kapanen's dad, wow. Sami Kapanen.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
And here's another little quick story for you on that. He didn't speak a lick of English. He spoke nothing but French. Sami Kapanen looked at him and said, "What do you want to do?" He said, "I want to play in the NHL." And he said, "I struggled to get the words NHL out." So I basically said NHL. And Sami Kapanen told him, "If you want to play in the NHL and go over there, you're going to have to learn English." So he started working hard learning English, and then when he came to Columbus, it was Pierre-Luc Dubois that was a huge help bridging the language barrier for him.
Well, I'm glad he didn't get the N and the A confused on the NHL and AHL.
Good point. Noah Allen of the Blackhawks will dump that one wide of the net. He's a 6'2" defenseman. Last pick in the draft a couple years ago. Shot gets blocked by Joseph. He goes down, gets back up, stays in the full. Here on the near wing, Chicago wheels it around in the Blues end, 5-on-5 hockey. Del Mastro, far side it goes. They get it down low, try to get it to the front of the net. Kicking it at the goal is Mikheyev. It comes in on Jordan Binnington, and there's a little bit of the bend and don't break we've seen from the Blues over the last year or so.
Well, it's a fine display by Chicago as far as their overlapping, reloading, intersecting, great passing, all on the stick. It almost seemed like a power play there for a little bit, but heck of a job by the Chicago Blackhawks to keep puck possession. You know, the breakdown really started when Matthew Joseph, he blocks that shot. He's going to go down the tunnel now. That's something to keep an eye on. Looked like he took it right off the inner patella on that left kneecap. You know, they got knee protection there, but I tell you, sometimes those slap shots just underneath that upper cap sometimes can be wicked.
Perunovic throws a body into Colton Dock. Then gets the puck for the St. Louis Blues as he's pressured by Landon Slaggert, and it's brought around to Jake Neighbors. 27 goals last year for the Blues, Jake Neighbors. Moves it ahead, Dvorsky on the backhand pass. Finds P.O. Joseph, Matthews' brother. Puck dumped into the Hawk zone side, in on the forecheck, wins the puck. What a puck battle that was. Up to the blue line. Slap shot, Perunovic, and a left pad save, Mrazek. Puck back to Dock on the near wing. Neighbors gets inside and checks him, and it's dumped down into the Blues zone. 13.5 to go. Opening period, no score. Blues and Blackhawks. Both of these teams winless in the preseason so far. Blues with games against Chicago, Dallas and Utah. This is their first one against Chicago. Detroit lost both their games. Or one, Chris spit it out. Chicago lost both their games to Detroit, Joe. They had a home and home. That's what I was trying to get to.
Got it. We figured it out. It's preseason.
My internal Google Maps just went a little goofy. Puck on the near side. Chicago's got it. Gutman shooting it and off a deflection. Zach Sanford was battling right in front, and it went high.
Yeah, we've seen that quite a bit in the years when Zach Sanford was the St. Louis Blue. Big body in front.
Zach played for 4 teams last season. As the puck comes to Parayko and it's rolled back around, he's wearing number 12 for the Blackhawks.
He's going to have a heck of a jersey collection when he retires.
Yeah, he played for Arizona and then in Tucson in the American League, and then Rockford, the Blackhawks organization, the American League, then of course up with the Hawks. Parayko with a wrist shot that floats in behind the net. Going back to get it. That's Louis Crevier. There's a long shot coming on. Mrazek to save Crevier. He looks big because he's 6'8" before you put the skates on.
Big body, number 46 too. That's a number that takes up a lot more room. I always say, if you want to look bigger, have a double-digit number like this young man right here, Anthony Ciu, who just pulled the tire.
Anthony Ciu had it. Allen gets it back. Maroon works it in. Here's Allen with a shot that gets blocked off at Kessel. Luke battling on Maroon. Whoop! Gravity check far side. One of the Hawks went down. I don't see too many guys go down forward like that often, do you?
No, you don't.
Over on the far wing. Good check thrown there by Luke on Anthony Ciu right at the blue line. Trying to lean in there was Samuel Savoie, trying to get a little bit of a shoulder and elbow in on Texier. Walker will clear to the line. Not out. Taylor Hall fans on his shot. And Kessel clears for the Blues. Long pass to Toropchenko, intercepted. Vlasic dumps it in for the Hawks, and the Blues go back to get it in their own end. Brought to Texier on the right side. Backhanded through center, too far for Walker. Chicago will pick it up on the tape of Korchinski, not of Vlasic. They work it ahead to Hall, and he gets it over the line. Trying to jump in there was Kurashev. And the Blues go the other way with it, led by Perunovic. Now to Holloway. Into the middle with a wrist shot. He ripped it wide. Now the puck back to Radek Faksa to the blue line. Joseph finds Perunovic. Back to Joseph with a left-handed shot on. Mrazek will make the save. 10:34 to go. Both teams have had pressure in the offensive zones, but it's a 0-0 game. We bring you back to the first period in a moment from Enterprise Center in downtown St. Louis. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Welcome back to Enterprise Center. Glad to have everybody tuning in St. Louis on the Victory Plus app, our flagship station 101 ESPN, in the Chicago area as well on the Victory Plus app or Chicago's website and app. 10.5 to go, first period, no score. P.O. Joseph with a shot. That gets blocked into the corner. Kurashev's going to pick it up. And they'll work it up ice to Hall, who has it taken away at the top of the circle. Matthew Joseph back out there, so went down the runway for a little stinger. Comes back out. He's a hockey guy. And the puck worked along the near side by Nazar. 20-year-old from Detroit, Michigan, Frank Nazar. It's a slap shot from the far side. Another long shot wide. Got a little battle there with Mikheyev as the puck goes in off the far side. Bennington came to the near post, and the Hawks have taken a 1-0 lead.
Well, I tell you what, Chicago, I'm really impressed by their offensive zone right now. Tons of movement, tons of engagement from the defensemen. They're jumping down, there's overlapping, there's crisscrossing, and there's exceptional passing. Look at this pass right here by Taylor Hall. Boy, they're going to love to have him back this year. Ends up missing last year, a wear and tear on his ACL, finally needed repair surgery. So unfortunately in Connor Bedard's rookie season, he can't be a mentor to him, but he is healthy and looking super sharp in tonight's game. A beautiful aerial pass right on the tape, and it looked like Jordan Bennington got crisscrossed a little bit. I think it was P.O. Joseph that crossed him up and got in his way, and I don't think he sees his puck as it goes right over the glove for the first of the game.
Taylor Hall will enter this season 3 points shy of 700 in his career, the first overall draft pick back in 2010. Entering his 15th pro season. Of course, he was drafted first overall by the Edmonton Oilers. Up from Nick Leddy, who's dump it in. Neighbors goes after it, goes flying in on Nolan Allen. Puck goes back along the far side. Ethan Del Mastro holds it for the Hawks. Neighbors digging in for the Blues. Play it around him, pass Saad up to the line. Oh, the reach of Parayko kept it in, but now it's out. Brought to Nazar on the near wing. He's offside. Now, for a couple of these guys like Savoie, for Nazar, and a couple of others of the Blackhawks, it's their second trip into St. Louis this year. Some of these guys are in for the Tom Curver's Prospect Showcase.
And Nazar looked good,
a week ago. He did. 9:17 to go, first period. 1-0. Hawks lead. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Enterprise Center, 9:17 to go here in the first period. Hawks with an early lead, 1-0. And we just had that last TV timeout. Oh, our old buddy Louie's back, Curbs. Louie's back to get the crowd pumped up here. That funny bear from the North Pole.
Look out, cross-check, man, is that? And Leo Luke goes right after initially.
He's going to take a penalty.
Blackhawks far, he should take one. Here's Vlasic moving in. How the heck that wasn't a penalty prior to what Luke did would be nuts.
Yeah, Luke is just puzzled
Frank Nazar
by the lack of call. That was a dangerous collision with speed.
You dislocate shoulders and you break legs when you put the stick on somebody going into the boards like that. It's an absolute penalty that they
St.
missed.
Louis, number 46, has a 2-minute minor for roughing.
Yeah, see, the hard forecheck here for Chicago. I believe it was Matthew Kessel. He comes burning in with speed. He comes flying in, and a little poke from the backside. You just got to keep your stick away from the wayside on these kind of plays, because a little thrown off of the out of balance for that player going in full speed could have led to a season-ending injury, and those are the ones you really need to be cleaning up, especially in the preseason if you're a referee group and they just missed it. So an early penalty kill here for St. Louis.
Interference border, you can pick any one of them up. Joe, I'll take a roughing penalty in that situation any day of the week.
I would
from
too.
your teammate.
I think a little response like we saw the other day. You know, I think it was Gabranson there in Columbus when there was a bit of a knee-to-knee hit there, and Gabranson goes after who a Blues player was, but I don't mind seeing it this time of the year, especially from a player like Luke, who's Kessel. It was Kessel, yeah. Especially for a player like Luke, who's looking to open some eyes here, and it's an element that this team can certainly use still.
Blackhawks into the Blues zone on the power play. Blues onto the penalty kill. All on the wing, lost it. Good play by Joseph to get to it, clear it out.
Yeah, great stick there by Matthew Joseph. Gave him the forehand, took away the backhand, and just switched his stick at the last moment. A young man from Ottawa that is going to do some service here, killing some penalties this season.
Kurashev finds Hall. They go rink wide with it. Now Korchinski over to the right side. Maroon on the power play, down into the corner. They snap it back along the wall to Kurashev. Bottom of the circle, tried to jam it in front. And there's Hall, I believe, on the doorstep to put it in. It might have hit off of Maroon in front. 2-0 Blackhawks on a power play goal.
Yeah, this is going to be Pat Maroon's goal. He's on the flanker to start this thing, to start this revolution. He's going to move it down to Taylor Hall, and then he's going to spearhead himself right to the front of the net. That's where he belongs.
Yep.
And then Taylor Hall is going to see the give-and-go hockey. He's got big 77 right on top of the blue paint. Taylor Hall does a heck of a job taking it to the net, sees that left-handed stick of Pat Maroon, puts it right on the blade, and no Blues defender gets underneath the big heavy stick of the big rig they used to call him here, still call him in Chicago now, and he makes it a 2-0 game just like that.
Got to go to the front of the net in this game, don't you, Joe?
Well, I just tell you, you know what, there's a lot of naysayers about Pat Maroon, but Curbs, he's effective. I mean, look at the way he just made that play happen. You don't need to be the fastest skater. You got to be a smart skater. He takes great angles. He understands his gift of holding on the pucks down low, and Chicago is very lucky not only to have his down low presence, but certainly his leadership as well.
So a 2-0 Blues deficit. Here's Hugh McGing getting a hold of the puck as Cole Gutman tries to catch up to him. Blues, Kaskamaki gets it over the line before Phillips is there to send it the other way. Now Sanford brings it in. Walker trying to keep up with him. Zach Sanford on the backhand. The puck fired over to the near side. Allen down along the wing. Hawks in the Blues zone. Allen with a shot. Bennington the save, slides over. Gets a left pad on a return chance. That one coming off of the stick of Bretzini. And a Blues the other way.
Yeah, Bretzini, who's with Scott Prunovich. And just
here's your makeup call, Joe.
Yeah, beat Prunovich right to the net there for a hard rebound, and Bennington had to be sharp there. Another left pad save with a big thud.
So the Blues with a delayed penalty against the Hawks coming. Hawks will touch it up.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to that power play goal for Chicago, and, you know, to me, it shouldn't have really come to that. You know, if you look at maybe matching them up or just
Chicago number 70 has a 2-minute minor for high sticking.
And letting them both go. But unfortunately for St. Louis, can't get that early kill. But certainly an opportunity now to get to work on the power play. And they're going to send their top unit out there. Jake Neighbor is going to be a net front presence to keep an eye on. Dvorsky's going to be on this left little flanker here. He's got a very nice one-timer, much like Zachary Bolduc. And they're going to put Scott Prunovich right back out there. This is a a time in the game and certainly a moment for Scott Perunovich where he does need to shine and show his skill level, not only moving the puck curves, but they keep wanting him to shoot the puck more. Let's see if he's got it.
Blackhawks win the face-off. Dvorsky was the one that took it for the Blues. It's all the way down the ice. Bennington will steer it there. And Perunovich moves it ahead. Saad flips it on the backhand to Dvorsky. Hard rim to the near side for Texier. Into the corner for Saad, up to the blue line. Perunovich back to Texier. To the goal line it comes. Saad in behind the net. Oh, had his man in the middle. Neighbors, they couldn't connect. Hard on the puck. Blues get it back. Saad. Left side now to Dvorsky. Wrist shot off the glove into maybe the mask of the goaltender as it comes loose. Mrazek had the piece of it. Now Texier to the goal line to Neighbors. Tried to jam that in front. They gave him a lane. He took it. Puck knocked away, and Perunovich holds it in at the right point. To Texier. Snaps it over, but it went behind Dvorsky and out of the zone. And first clear is off their Blues' own sticks. Texier gets it right back for the Blues. Now to Perunovich. Texier on the power play. Wrist shot gets blocked. Dvorsky recovers. Perunovich left point. Texier in the circle. Neighbors to the front of the net. The pass just missed him. Dvorsky back to Saad in the bumper. Plays it to Texier. Put it on, and a save made. Mrazek. And it clear all the way down for the Hawks. 35 seconds to go in the power play.
Yeah, that Texier was more of a slap pass. He saw Neighbors there on the back door, but a great minute 30 from that top unit. Really good recoveries. Looked like Chicago had a couple chances to clear it, but Brandon Saad, very good stick checking there.
Puck coming along the near wing. It goes in behind the net. Phillips is on the backhand, gets a piece of it, creates a 2-on-1 shorthanded. Hawks get it in, drag near side, forced all the way away by the body of Parayko, and they didn't get a shot away with Hall part of it.
Yeah, textbook body slide. He timed it perfectly there for Colton Parayko. You don't want to leave your feet too often, but again, he timed that one perfectly. Did not leave Chicago with any options.
Back to even strength we go. Kaskamaki will pick it up for the Blues. 4.5 to go, first period. Chicago up 2-0. It's the veterans with the goals. Taylor Hall at 10:05. Maroon at 12:05. Maroons was on the power play. McGing to Kaskamaki. The shot, tough angle, went wide. Puck out of the zone.
McGing's been good so far early in this game. He's had a couple nice passes in the offensive zone. Nice little one-timer. Went right across Mrazek. Just caught with the left shoulder.
Puck deflected up over the glass and out of play.
First souvenir of the year. Young man right there.
Very nice. 4:04 to go. Each team with 8 shots on goal. Hawks have a 2-0 lead on the Blues. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. .404 to go, period number 1. Preseason game number 4 for the Blues, number 3 for Chicago. Chris Kerber, Joe Vitale with you from Enterprise Center in downtown St. Louis. Blues onto the puck. Joseph to the blue line. Kessel with a shot. Wide of the net it goes. Luke pinching down along the wing. McEachran trying to get there. The puck gets bumped. Mackenzie McEachran missing the last half of last season with a shoulder injury. Joseph trying to get it. Allen for the Hawks at the blue line. He slided ahead. Dave's going to dump that one in. Get in behind the net. Kessel over to Luke. Luke will wait for some pressure from Kurashev and then move it out of the zone to Brandon Saad. What a career high 26 goals last year for Brandon Saad.
Yeah, he had a bit of a slow start, if you remember. And you know what? There was no doubt, though. This young man, we say it year after year, he'll find his way to get his 20. Almost every year, it seems like you look at the column and he finds that 20-plus goal mark. Fitting that he wears number 22.
That
Curves,
seems to work, doesn't it? Savoie able to get it in for the Hawks. Vlasic pinches in. All the way around it goes. Nice work. Korchinski gets to it. Savoie into the corner now to Pat Maroon. Man, will he be a mentor for a lot of young Chicago players. We've seen it up front personal, haven't we, Joe?
Yes, we sure have. And not only a three-time Stanley Cup champion, but a player that's been around the league a very, very long time with a wonderful, just charismatic personality. Brings the physicality, stick up for teammates, wonderful in the locker room. Look at him just whacking at Jake Neighbors right there, and he does his homework. He knows who the physical guys are every single night he's going up against, and he calls them right out.
Bottom of the circle. Shot turned away by Bennington. That puck goes into the corner. Pat Maroon is a spectacular story of betting on yourself. Turned down a larger deal, ended up signing a one-year deal with St. Louis, and goes on to win 3 consecutive Stanley Cups.
Yeah. Well,
and then the career continues.
And you go back to, so many people forget that in 2018, right around Christmas time, when the Blues were really slumping, just got rid of their head coach. Pat Maroon was days, hours away from getting sent down to the American Hockey League. And Curves, if he gets sent down at that point, maybe he never comes back. But he stuck around a little bit longer, found a nice line with Robert Thomas and Tyler Bozak, and boy, the rest is history.
And he scored what I believe to be the biggest goal in St. Louis Blues history. Toropchenko out of the corner. To the front of the net, finding Walker. Backhands it near wing. Kessel into the slot. Texier. They get it straight away to Luke. Back to Texier, and that shot gets blocked into a host of Hawks who are defending well in front of the net, and the puck cleared out. 60 seconds remaining, opening period. 2-0 Blackhawks. Up the left side. Pass too far for Kaskamaki. Coming in on the near wing, and that's sent by Cini wide of the net and out of the zone, far side. Touched by Del Mastro. Now to Sanford. Into the high slot, ran right into McGing. That puck dumped down into the corner with 35 seconds to go. Gutman. Lost it out of the corner. McGing through center. Kaskamaki as he entered the zone. Joseph finds it left side. Perunovic with a wrist shot. And Mrazek the save. The puck up over the glass and out of play. STL Authentics is your one-stop shop for all your Blues game day gear. Shop a large assortment of exclusive items, including hats, hoodies, and women's wear. Check out the new selection of jerseys from the NHL's new jersey partner, Fanatics. Choose from Breakaway, Premium, and the newly added Authentic Pro jersey, which has the exact specification of the players wear and is made in Canada. Where do you get all that? STLauthentics.com. Blues get the puck to the front of the net with 10 seconds to go, but the Hawks are there. They'll move it out. Avoid an offside call, and in the preseason, that's always appreciated as the period comes to a close. And we say that, but the players do too.
The players do, the fans do. Louis, poor Bears probably need to find some AC as well. Great period of hockey for Chicago. Certainly a little bit slow to start for St. Louis. Really loved the way Chicago was ripping and rolling in the offensive zone. They chip in on the power play, and Blues still looking for a little bit of an answer here, but very clear that Chicago was ready to start this game, and they have looked very sharp. And the other end, Peter Mrazek has looked good as well.
So we've got 20 minutes in the books. On the radio side, we've got Grant Francis. We bring you more on the TV side here in just a moment. 2-0, Chicago on top. Back to St. Louis after this.
Preseason hockey is in full effect right here in downtown St. Louis. The St. Louis Blues hosting their rivals, the Chicago Blackhawks, in their fourth preseason game, the first one right here on home ice. Welcome in to your Chevy First Intermission Report. I'm your host, Nita Victor, alongside Joey Vitale. Joey, it is great to see the fans here back in the building. Of course, we are fans at home watching on Victory Plus and the Blues app, and of course, stlouisblues.com. But how good is it to, not hop on a plane, just hang out here and play a game here on home ice?
Absolutely. I mean, the first 3 games all on the road for the St. Louis Blues team, so it's great to see the fans here at Enterprise Center. Great to get the momentum going, and look at you and me. We're back.
We're back, baby.
We're hired again.
You guys missed us or what?
Another year with you, Danita. I'm excited. Should be fun.
Absolutely. All right, Joey, the Blues and both Blackhawks are looking for that first preseason win. What did you see here in this first 20 minutes of hockey?
It was good. It was a good period. It was up-tempo, high pace, good physicality. I think the compete on both ends was there. Chicago certainly brought a little bit more. I was really impressed by Chicago's offensive zone, the way they're interchanging, mixing it up, great passing. Kind of was throwing St. Louis defensively off on a little bit of a loop there, and, of course, they chip in on the power play. So all things considered, Chicago certainly got the edge in that first period. But it's a long game, and the Blues have a little bit of work to do.
Absolutely right. There's still plenty of hockey left to play, and we'll recap that period and a lot more. But first, we're going to send it downstairs to Reagan for our Youth Hockey Rising Stars interview presented by First Community.
Well, hey, Danita and Joey. Yes, I am down here with Ben, and he is 7. Ben, what grade are you in?
2nd.
And what is your favorite part about 2nd grade? He's really thinking. Is it recess?
Yes.
Good answer. And what is your favorite part about hockey?
Is that we have teammates.
That is a great answer. You like being a part of a team. That is amazing. And do you have a favorite Blues player?
Cairo.
Good answers all around. Well, thank you for playing. Did you have fun out there?
2 years.
Yeah. He's been playing for 2 years, so I'll take that as he did have fun out there. Thank you so much, guys. Give it up for Ben. We're going to throw it back over to Danita and Joey for some more intermission report.
Rock star right there.
Man.
2 years? You look like a pro. Yeah.
Afton American. Best breakfast sandwiches in St. Louis.
In that rink?
Go to the concession stand. These ladies, they've been there like 100 years. The way they do the bacon and then the cheese, they melt it with really good Wonder Bread. That's the key.
Okay, that's the key. Good
really
white Wonder Bread.
Unhealthy Wonder Bread. So go catch a game. Get yourself a breakfast sandwich. Nice job, Ben.
All right, Ben, you have a bright future, but let's take a look at Colton Parayko and how he got his start here with the NHL.
We have like a little outdoor rink right by my middle school. Just out there, probably with a bunch of buddies and stuff like that. Those are some of my favorite memories and early memories of just skating. I actually broke my wrist playing a different sport. If I was going to get serious, I should probably decide which way and what sport I wanted to play. So I chose hockey and just tried to kind of get more serious, I guess, and just start training for it. Just enjoy the process, I think. I think there's just a lot of ups and downs and a lot of different people that are kind of in your ear throughout minor hockey, junior, college, and even the pros. So just stick your course. You know what's best for you, and obviously work ethic is important, and trust in yourself. So trust yourself, be confident, and work hard, and good things will happen.
Colton Parayko, absolutely an incredible human being and just a well-rounded defenseman too. Joey, early in the season, it's still preseason, but we've seen this is his second game. What have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, I mean, a true gentleman off the ice as well, but on the ice, and this is going to be the horse for the St. Louis Blues, and he knows this, and his early career, in the shadows of Pietrangelo and Bouwmeester a little bit, and over the last couple seasons, he's certainly grown into now understanding that he's the alpha guy back there. This team doesn't go anywhere without him. I thought he had a great first period. He's had a great preseason. He was healthy last year, which was a huge bonus for the St. Louis Blues fans to see him on the ice every game. But the way he moves, the way he defends, the way he jumps up in the rush, he pretty much just does it all. And with his size, he closes time and space so quickly. To me, you're looking at a top 10, 15 defenseman in the National Hockey League, and we're very lucky to have him.
No, absolutely. All right, let's get right into those first period highlights, and let's take a look at that game right here. And, of course, preseason hockey, the fans here back in here. And, of course, Dalibor Dvorsky, nice, the fans that want to see him right there. And let's talk about the physicality right off the hop. We saw a lot of action right here. There's Brandon Saad getting into it, Hugh McGing, all around physical.
Yeah, very physical. This has been the consistent effort I think we've seen all preseason right now for St. Louis has been physicality. Drew Anderson talked a lot about it as far as just making sure we have that will established. Here's the Chicago Blackhawks. We mentioned in the offensive zone, doing a heck of a job. Loading, unloading, defenseman throwing pucks to the net. Here's Taylor Hall. Missed last season with an ACL injury, and he's on the board early with the primary assist. Wonderful pass right here. Puts it through three bodies of St. Louis. You see a little bit of puck staring right there. Catches him on the back end. And now we're going to look at some chances here for St. Louis. A really good response. I thought Hugh McGing, as you mentioned, that was his first shot. He had two elite passes in his first couple shifts as well. There's the big man right there, Colton Parayko, maybe the best chance of the period on the wraparound. Mrazek with a great save. And then you're going to see Nick Leddy on a shot. There's P.O. Joseph, one of the Joseph brothers we've seen out there. And, of course, here's some power play chances. Brandon Saad did a heck of a job loading, reloading, stick checking, puck recoveries. Jake Neighbors, no stranger to the front of the net.
All right, Joe, let's take a look at Scott Perunovich here. How important is this camp for him?
It's a very important camp. It's a very important game, and I think he knows that. You know, Drew Bannister, again, he mentioned this morning that he needs to start seeing some players going out there with the intention of taking someone else's job, and I think that Scott Perunovich is one of those players. I think he's dealt with some injuries early in his career. You know, he's an undersized defenseman. He needs to continue to learn how to be effective, but I thought he had a pretty strong first period. We saw the really good shot there with less than 10 seconds to go. I thought he did a great job running the power play. You know, that's his expertise. Running the power play, moving the puck. The question is, can he defend? Can he defend against some of these big forwards? It's going to be a good test tonight. Taylor Hall, again, an elite forward. Pat Maroon, big, oversized forward. He's going to have his hands full, and this is going to be a really good game for him to see how he, again, matches up against that NHL caliber type of forwards.
And, of course, with the veteran group right there, back there with Colton Parayko and Nick Leddy, they're all some great leaders right there to help him right in here. And, of course, we have some other great guys. Nathan Walker, talk about the camp that he's having. And Drew Bannister emphasized, you know, he's a guy who can do it all, and he'll be there, and he wants to be here, and he wants to be in the NHL.
Yeah, Nathan Walker, I mean, he's anchoring that third line. He's playing center tonight, which is really cool to see because, you know, the center position, you're a bit of a rover. You're kind of all over the place, which suits his game really well because he's just a little bee. He just goes, doesn't think as much. He just is a driver. He's hungry. He's a hound dog. This is how he plays. It's how he's played his whole career. Again, an undersized forward. He should not have lasted in the league as long as Nathan Walker has had, but he does it from his heart, his soul. He brings the hard hat every single night. Every single night you see him in the lineup, you know exactly what he's going to bring. And at the very top of it is the physicality, and he's not afraid of anyone, especially at that size, which is certainly great for the St. Louis fan base to see.
Oh, absolutely. And off the ice, he's just an incredible human as well. And, of course, we have preseason hockey here, but right next door at Stifel, there is plenty more you can see. Let's take a look at what's coming up next door.
In a world of fairy tales and monsters, an ogre and a donkey embark on a quest to save their swamp and rescue a feisty princess. It's time to fall in love all ogre again with Shrek the Musical, an epic tale filled with hijinks, adventure, and lots of gassy fun. Shrek the Musical.
Coming to Stifel Theater for one night only on October 16th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
All-time Pixar movies. One of the greats.
Is it Pixar?
Is it Pixar or Disney? I don't think it's Disney.
I'm not a big movie person, so I'm out there.
That donkey was a funny.
But how about this one right here? The psychedelic
That donkey was a funny donkey.
And of course, David Sedaris there next door as well. So a lot going on next door. You know, when you're trying to fill in some days on off days, head over next door to Stifel Theater. A lot going on.
Love that donkey.
Love it.
When he talks about the boulder, that's a nice boulder. Remember that? Remember the part?
No,
from Shrek?
I actually haven't seen the full Shrek movie.
God,
I know. No, yeah. Sorry to fail you. It's Elf and Shrek. So that's strike three. All right, Joey's leaving me hanging here. So.
All right, I'm only kidding. I'll come back.
All right, Joey.
I'm not gonna leave you hanging on the first one.
Second period here. What do the Blues need to do right now to get back into it and get on the board?
You know, I think a little bit more to the inside. You know, what I mean by that is in the offensive zone. There is good puck possession. They are going low to high, but I think driving to the net a little bit more. You see the way Pat Maroon gets to the front of the net. You need more drivers, get to the blue paint, cause a little traffic for Mrazek. He looked sharp in that first period, but cover up his eyes a little bit, start creating some more chances.
No, absolutely. All right, Joey, one last thing for you. How excited are you back here at Enterprise?
I'm pumped. I'm excited. It's great to see a great fan base here tonight on a Saturday night against the Blackhawks. I know they're super pumped for October 15th against the Minnesota Wild. The Blues started on the road trip, but they're going to come back for some good home cooking after that.
Yeah, it's basically a little mini preseason homestand right here. All right, second period action is coming up next. The St. Louis Blues and the Chicago Blackhawks get their seats for the second period.
welcome you back inside Enterprise Center. We've got the St. Louis Blues. We've got the Chicago Blackhawks. A very good first period for the Chicago Blackhawks. A goal from, but eventually did change it to Kurashev. So Kurashev from Hall and Phillips, then Maroon from Hall and Kurashev. And it was a very good first period for Chicago. Joe, how do the Blues respond?
Well, first and foremost, they could take a note from, I think, Chicago's book in that first period and get to the net more. I mean, you saw Pat Maroon's goal there, although it was on the power play, but right on top of the blue paint, that's where all the danger areas are going to be coming now as the NHL continues to evolve this way, where the perimeter is just not going to work anymore. And keep an eye on, of course, Taylor Hall. You know, the Blues didn't have a chance to see him very often last year because of that injury, but certainly with 2 primary assists in this game, this kid's a playmaker. He's been it his whole career, and I think you got to start getting some lickings on him and get his number and be aware when he's on the ice because he can make some plays.
Hawks win the opening draw, dump it in. Binnington out of the net, snaps it off. Walker to the near circle, Perunovic. Over to Joseph, moves it ahead, underneath the stick of Texier. Mrazek goes to clear it around and out, and the Hawks come back the other way with it. Work it down along the wing, and Savoie put it to the front of the net. That's deflected away to the near side. Toropchenko over to Texier. Maroon got in the road of Texier, and now the Hawks keep it on the near side. Korchinski, far corner. Kurashev. And that pass intercepted. Now 3-on-3. Blues up the ice. Off the far boards, dump it in. Toropchenko stays on the hunt. His line mates change. 2 Hawks players go down. Hall ran into Korchinski. That allows Faksa to get that big frame of his in there digging for the puck.
That's but the 3rd time Taylor Hall's fallen so far in this game with no one around him. So
that ice is slippery, Joe.
I know. I'm sure if he's got new blades on or what.
Chicago brings it into a 2-on-1. Pass over to Hall. Bounced over his stick, and it's coming out of the zone. Joseph to Holloway. Back to Joseph behind the net. Blues battle out of the corner. Holloway will push it in behind the goal. And now for Chicago, Isaac Phillips goes to move it away. Holloway gets it back. He gets hooked down. No call. Puck to the near wing. Chip back for Dvorsky, then to Joseph off the far wall. Kessel, wrist shot, and that one wide of the goal.
A heck of a forecheck right there by Holloway, and Matthew Kessel, just a couple beagles on a pheasant right there, weren't they?
Colton Dock worked it up ice.
We used to have a blue tick beagle growing up, Curbs, called Mo Blue. Nice. He was a good old dog, good old rabbit dog.
A beagle find my grandma in the woods one day. It's a true story.
They've got good noses, don't they?
Yeah. This was really important too.
I don't think the prisons use beagles. What kind of dogs do they use? What kind of dogs are those?
Bloodhounds?
Are they bloodhounds? They must have been good at smelling prisoners. Or humans.
Well, I think they're pretty much good at smelling anything. And then they thought, hey, we could use them for this purpose.
Ah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
17:26 to go. We're in the second period of play. We've got the Blues and the Blackhawks. Lines coming into this game for the Blues. Saad, Dvorsky, and Neighbors. Holloway, Faksa, Joseph. Texier, Walker, Toropchenko. For your top 9. Haven't seen a game yet where you've really seen the full force of the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, you look at the next 2 home games, Curbs, I would imagine one of those would be pretty close.
Paskamaki strips the puck. That's his strength as a 200-foot game. Very smart defensively. And even that small play right there, Joe, getting on the right side of the puck at the boards.
Exactly. You got to always be on the defensive side, and it's a small detail of the game, but you start fishing and hoping and getting on the offensive side and cheating for offense, that's when it can burn you.
Hawks bring it in. Gutman to the goal with it. Binnington slides over, gets a glove on it. Trying to get back into the crease, does. Hawks pass to the blue line, missed it. Korchinski out of the zone. And Chicago again enters the St. Louis end. Athanasiou caught by P.O. Joseph. It's broken up by Nick Leddy. Korchinski Far wing, slap pass looking for Maroon. 277's going after it. Now there's Savoie for Chicago with Leddy in on him. Walker does a great job trying to get in and break it up, and Athanasiou keeps it alive. Korchinski over to the far wing with it. Vlasic towards the front of the net. It goes behind the goal. Pat Maroon with Walker on him. Korchinski to Vlasic, chased by Toropchenko. In behind the net, wrap around Savoie, and that's blocked away. And the Blues will get it out to Nathan Walker.
Yeah, a really good stick by Nick Leddy to break up again the pressure in the offensive zone by Chicago. They're having moments in this game where they're spending 30, 40, 45 seconds in the offensive zone, and the Blues are just kind of swimming around. We saw this a little bit last year from the Blues, where at times it looked like almost they were killing a penalty, where they're so conservative in the middle of the ice. Chicago having their way with it.
Saw it way too much.
Yeah, we did. I wonder if we're going to see a bit of an adjustment more this year, but looks pretty similar so far up to this point in the preseason.
Long pass goes over to the far wing. This one gets deflected away. Joseph over to Leddy.
The Sturgeon Slayer. He caught a big old fish this summer. Curb, did you see that, Nick Leddy?
I did not. Oh, yes, I did see that picture. I did.
11-foot sturgeon. That's a big old fish.
That is a monster.
That's like a Ursula from Mermaid type of creature.
Here's Leo Loof with a shot. Mrazek the save. Holloway had gone to the front of the net. He was moved out. Not a lot of sustained time, and Colton Parayko in his pregame sound with Grant Francis talked about the Blues get it to Sod and he shoots it on. Talked about how sometimes some of the best changes the Blues need to make defensively are actually play the puck more in the offensive zone.
Yeah, hold on to it. Don't get rid of it. No hope plays in the middle.
Pass coming over to Loof. Backhands into the corner. Neighbors going in on Phillips. Sod, nice job stripping it back, looking for Neighbors, and that one's broken up. Hawks will go to center ice, and Chicago dumps it down into the Blues zone.
A couple really nice passes there briefly by Jake Neighbors to find Brandon Saad through the body of the defender.
Neighbors with Perunovic. They get it in, and a shot gets blocked over on the far side by Allen. Pass for Dvorsky, deflected away and cleared down the ice. Bennington hustles out to get it. He'll leave it there, and Joseph will pick it up. 6 minutes. 25 seconds gone. Second period, Chicago leading 2-0. All that scoring coming in the first. McEachern fumbled it at the blue line. Ended up putting himself offside. And that stops the play, in a neutral zone faceoff coming up. 2-0 Chicago. Back in a moment. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. 13.5 to go, second period of play. Blues and Blackhawks here at Enterprise Center. They'll play in Milwaukee next Saturday night. And then both teams head out for long road trips to open up the year. Chicago beginning with a 4-gamer that spans 8 days. The St. Louis Blues beginning with a 3-gamer that spans 7 days. Marunovich back in his own end. Blues will start on the road in Seattle on Tuesday the 8th. First game of the season, as a matter of fact. It's an afternoon game. The Chicago Blackhawks will then open up against the Utah Hockey Club. So they will be the first ever regular season game for the NHL's newest franchise.
Yeah, you know, that game on Tuesday, the Blues open up in Seattle, 2 curbs like you mentioned, is at 3:30 Central Time.
Right.
Start on a weekday, which is kind of crazy, but kind of cool.
Chicago onto the puck. Alex Vlasic clears it out. Hits off Walker than the glass. Walker checked into there by Savoie.
Nathan Walker's looking to spark something here. Look, he's trying to pick a fight.
Letty's going to slap it in.
Him and Savoie were going at it.
Here's Toropchenko. Down low behind the net. Texier on the wraparound. Mrazek the save. The puck just out of the reach of Toropchenko. Nick Leddy finding Walker. Over to the right side. Parayko with a wrist shot. Blocked before it got to the net. Toropchenko off the near wall to Leddy with time. Shoots it. 2 deflections, and then it's steered into the corner before it hits the goalie. Texier behind the goal. Far corner finds Parayko. Feeds that to the front. It goes off Vlasic up over the glass and out of play. Hey, if you're looking for more flexibility in your life, God knows I could use that.
I know you can.
Create your own custom flex plan. Now, we're not talking about your hamstrings. We're talking about tickets for the 24-25 season. Select 13 home games this season to build your own plan based on your schedule, budget, favorite opposing teams to watch, whatever you like. Create a flex plan to get only the matchups you choose. So go to stlouisblues.com/tickets. Hamstring stretching, things like that, you're on your own.
Go to Bikram Yoga. Do some hot yoga class. You ever do one of those classes, Curbs? That yoga, that in the heated room is like 115-degree room.
Are you kidding me?
Talk about miserable. Well, they say the heat's supposed to, like,
people like it, but I have no desire at the moment.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like helps your muscles kind of become more flexible.
You know what I did do? I started going to the stretch lab.
What's that?
They stretch you.
Is that right?
They do, and it's actually great. Yeah, you can do a lot of it against the wall, but let's face it, most people won't. So I started going there.
They stretch you, huh?
Yep, it's awesome.
The stretch lab.
It's actually been great. Help my back situation big time. Here's a shot going in, blocked off of Binnington.
Go check that out.
Yep. Holloway's bringing it in over the line, and the puck gets shot up. So you know when you played hockey,
oh yeah,
right? And the trainers would stretch you or help you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hip mobility.
Well, when you're like me and you're like as flexible as a 4x4, and you need to kind of work on that.
Yeah.
All right. So when you drop your car keys, it doesn't take you calling the kids to pick them up, right?
Oh, come on.
A little exaggerated.
That is
a little exaggerated. But no, it's serious. It's been great.
They used to, the players, the big muscle is their psoas. It's right on their abdomen, right to the right and left of their belly button. It plays tug of war with your QL in your back, and that's what gets really tight for players, and that's the bent over motion of skating stride. So they like
hip flexor.
Your hip flexor, yeah, get in right in your gut.
I don't know what the hell words you were just using.
It's the old psoas. Psoas, they call it.
Well, mine was so as tight that I was unable to do things. So I'm getting it stretched.
Look at that. So maybe a little less tight for you. Yeah, they used to hit those psoas curves. It lights you up like that. What was that game we played as kids?
Operation. Yep. Blues in the Hawk zone, down 2-0. Straight away, Loof. Puck gets shot towards the goal, but he trickled off his stick. Chicago's going to get there and bring it out, and then Loof goes over with a big hit.
I liked his game so far. This Loof, he tried to pick a fight earlier. He ended up taking a roughing penalty after a response to Matthew Kessel almost going in the boards dangerously, and another great finish right in front of the Chicago Blackhawks bench.
22-year-old Swede for the Blues. You talk about all the changes in even the last couple of years of drafts. You can't forget about him. Third round of 2020. 58 games in Springfield last year. 6'1". Here's a long shot That one's blocked in front by Jake Neighbors.
You know, it's games like this for Loof where he may not make this team out of camp, but, you know, you never know. Injuries, stuff happens around Christmas time, January, Curbs. They're going to remember games like this. They need a physical presence, a big body that's not afraid to move things around. It's games like this that are fresh in Doug Armstrong's mind.
So Sanford cross-checks Joseph after Joseph put a little cross-check along the boards. And the Chicago player down there on his knee, he looked down 62, Brett Cini. And I think we're going to get coincidental minors here. Both Sanford and Joseph put in the box for cross-checking. And we were not going to get a Joseph penalty until Sanford took his.
St. Louis number 77, Chicago number 17, both 2 minutes for cross-checking.
Let me put it this way, Joe, the arm didn't go up.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to try to keep things a little calm, and fans here in St. Louis.
Preseason, we don't need that.
They're showcasing their booze. And as we head into hockey's halftime, halfway through this game, you know, we talked a lot about Alexander Texier at the start in that first period, Curbs, and you went into, you know, his evolution of how we end up getting here to St. Louis. It's an impressive player, which really undercover, and to me a great trade by Doug Armstrong. You know, he's kind of hanging in there in Columbus for a while, and you see this for players. You see when they're on teams that maybe aren't as elite, that are missing the playoffs. They're in lower markets like the Columbus Blue Jackets. Sometimes these really good players kind of fly underneath the radar, you know, but he's got over 200 games in the National Hockey League. He's got great experience. There was one year a couple years ago he actually got loaned to a Swiss professional team, dealt with some personal stuff going on at home, some losses in the family. Columbus did a great job loaning him to the Swiss so he can be home in France, where he's from in France, a little bit closer anyway. But what's interesting about Texier is not only the 200 games, but you look at his last 3 seasons. You know, he has double-digit goals in the last 3 seasons. You know, and I remember talking to Tim Taylor about this a couple years ago, Curbs. You and I were sitting down with him.
Counting that year in Switzerland.
In Switzerland was one of the 3 years, including exactly. And you talked to Tim Taylor, and he talked about the bottom 6, third and fourth line guys. And I'll never forget a comment he made. You have to have players that can put up 10 goals. That's the way the game is evolving. You know, the years of the fourth liners, of, you know, the Cam Janssens, the Reed Lowe's, the Kelly Chases. I mean, those years where those guys ship in a goal and fight and hit, those years are beyond us. We're looking at third, fourth line players that they have to be fast, they have to be big, they have to look like Foxa, they have to look like Texier, they have to play that sandpaper style of hockey, but also they have to have an offensive touch, and that's why this you know, offseason trade to get Texier to St. Louis, to me, could be a very, very big one where, hey, he puts up 10, 12 goals again, can really help this team.
He's 25, played 78 games last year for Columbus, 12 goals, 18 assists, 30 points. I said, what's the biggest thing he's learned over his first few years? He said, I needed to learn how to take care of my body. The fuel that it needed, how to make it go, what did you have to do to be successful? Holloway on the ice for the Blues. Matthew Joseph as well. 4-on-4 hockey with the Blues down 2-0. Parayko, slap shot. Breaks the stick of Kurashev. He didn't even have to lean on it. He knew it was broken. And the puck over to the far wing. Not many hockey sticks survive a Colton Parayko slap shot.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
8.5 remaining in the second. Speed. Athanasiou drives the net. Bennington the save. He covers up.
Slap shot from Colton Parayko on a stick. You ever see that Kindergarten Cop movie, Curbs?
Oh, yeah.
Remember Arnold Schwarzenegger? He's on the airplane, and the kid keeps kicking him.
Yes.
Keeps kicking him. Say, hey, you, come here. If you keep kicking my seat, this is what I'm going to do to you. He takes a pencil and he snaps it with his thumb. The kid's face. That's just about every stick when Colton Parayko steps in front of a slap shot this season. There was the Athanasiou speed. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not going to love seeing that every time the Blues play Chicago this year. That guy can flat out burn.
I've always been amazed that we could get the whole league to say Athanasiou, but not Pietrangelo. 8:16 to go in the second. Puck along the near side. Texier to Perunovic. Here's Texier. It's hooked going across the line. I'll tell you what, I like the fact that, you know, there may be a couple things missed in the regular season. You might get a little frustrated, but seeing 5-on-5 in the preseason has been good.
Yeah.
Puck to the side of the Chicago net. You know, Joe, you brought something up. a lot. You know, you talk about, oh, guys' chance to make a show. The reality of it is, I don't know that any one game seals somebody's fate, do you? It really is a series of games, because over the course of one game, opportunities may not present themselves as much. No, it really is a sequence, isn't it?
It's the full package. But the problem is, Curbs, if you're a player that needs to have a great camp, and let's say you don't look great in practice, and then all of a sudden maybe the first game wasn't great, and then the second day of practice not so great. It's like, at some point the pressure starts to mount, right. And that's where those games become really, really super important. I'll give you a flip side example as Mrazek makes another save. Tyler Tucker had a very physical first game in Dallas. I talked to an NHL scout with the Blues and loved this game. And they said something else. He goes, but he's been really good in practice. He's been very competitive in practice. He's showing that snarl. He's competitive against his teammates. He's been sharp, executing very well, came in camp. So right now, Tyler Tucker's put himself in a really good spot because now the buildup, the accumulation, like you're saying, of day after day. But if you look at the flip side of players that maybe fall off one game and then maybe two games, all of a sudden the pressure starts mounting for some of these players where it does become actually very important.
Chicago Blackhawks in their own end to the near side. Bring that puck off of Cini. He'll get a piece of it, send it out. Spent his college hockey in Hockey East, Joe.
Where was he?
Merrimack College.
I love it. That's where Jordy Fox played his college hockey. Now a big coach here in St. Louis, does a good job running the hockey club. He's actually in the building. He's in the 101 section. He texted me, he said, good luck tonight. So Jordy Fox was part of the Merrimack organization. Well, wonderful, wonderful organization, Hockey East.
Here's Dalibor Dvorsky. Couldn't get rid of it. Korchinski far side. Shot gets blocked. And then a puck gets cleared. Neighbors with Dvorsky. Bringing it in. Neighbors with a backhand. And it's Mrazek with a save. Puck comes loose. Dvorsky on the backhand to the front. Dvorsky's going to knock it from the blue line towards the goal. Toropchenko camped out in front. Allows the Blues to keep possession and make a change. Over to Kessel. Slap shot on. Save made by Mrazek. 6:28 to go in the second. 2-0 Chicago.
Wow, that's one of the best shifts of the camp so far for Alexei Toropchenko. He's winded too. Look at him bent over at the wayside. He could use a stretch lab, I'm sure. But he blocks that shot, curves in the defensive zone, and on his knees actually makes a play to the middle to spring that 2-on-1. And Jake Neighbors and Dvorsky, I think he wanted to move it over to Dvorsky, but it was a heck of a back check by the Chicago forward that really put a lot of pressure on Jake Neighbors, and he's a left-handed shot coming down that right side, so he really limited his options to get that puck across to Dvorsky.
Leo Loof. A solid game here tonight. Kept the puck in. Chicago will get it out. Look at that. They quickly had four guys together getting up to that blue line at the same time.
They've looked good. They have looked good. I've been very impressed with Chicago so far.
Kessel bringing it in, shooting it wide of the goal. Loose puck over to Holloway. Up to the blue line. Luke with a shot. He got it through, and Holloway again off the end boards. And it fell off his stick. And the Blackhawks will bring it to the neutral zone. Mikheyev down the near wing. Kurashev up to Del Mastro to the far wing. It ate up Korchinski. He put it back in. The the Hawks have to tag up. They choose the long route of walking through the door, and the Blues will clear the puck out. You can hear the hip of Nathan, or that's Hugh McGing, actually crashing into the wall. Puck gets deflected to the front of the net. Mrazek will make the save. 5:27 to go in the second period. Blues trail the Blackhawks 2-0. Back in a moment. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Well, 5:27 remaining here in the second period. 2-0 lead here still for the Chicago Blackhawks. We welcome you back to the Enterprise Center, and saw another little great flurry of chances there, all generated from Hugh McGing, Curbs. And, you know, again, talk about a player taking advantage of his opportunity. I think he's been one of the bright spots on the offensive side for St. Louis. And like Nathan Walker, he's going to find it a very difficult time to become a regular in the National Hockey League, but they absolutely love him here. A great leader in Springfield last year, and he's got some really nice chances in this game as well.
Drew Bannister had a lot of positive things to say yesterday. He's coached him at times just about every year for the last 5 years when Drew was first hired down in San Antonio. So one thing about the Blues head coach Drew Bannister, now he's been in the Blues organization now for a while. He was coaching the minor league systems for 5 seasons before being given the chance to come up here.
Well, and you look at his strength right now as a coach at this time in his career is player development, and very good at communicating with young prospects and young players. You know, and then what's wonderful about this coaching staff this year, Curbs, you add Claude Julien to the mix, a coach that has so much expertise behind the bench, understands in-game management, adjustments, matchups, and that's what he's really going to lean into Drew Bannister and help him out in his little bit inexperience, if you will, in the National Hockey League level.
Hugh McGing up to Scott Perunovich. They get the line on side. That was close. Behind the net, off the stick of McEachern. It goes over to the far corner, and Chicago's going to clear the zone. Jaworski's coming over the line. McEachern into the corner. Pressure on him from Vlasic. Broken up by Korchinski. And then Del Mastro looking to clear, holding it in initially. Neighbors, and got the feet moving. The puck didn't come with him.
Well, he had to be a little careful, too. He couldn't play the puck, I think, as soon as he wanted to, because he was changed from Mackenzie McEachern. And McEachern was a little bit slow getting off on that door. I think he didn't want to draw too many men penalty. Now his edge is all jacked up. It looks like he's going to get himself right off the ice and talk to Richie Matthews about that.
It's a good thing for, listen, young hockey players. You go down twice, go to the bench, and get your skates stoned. Make it look like it's an edge issue.
That's right. Get all tuned up. That's right. Coach, my edge, my stick. That's like the old one where you miss a shot, you shoot it wide, you come back, you check your stick, and you throw it, and you think it's broken. Stick's perfectly fine.
Coach says, son, I saw you trip over an extension cord in the hallway. I don't think it's the skates. 3:25 to go. We're in the second period. No scoring in this period. Kurashev from Holland Phillips at 10:05 of the first. Then Maroon on the power play 2 minutes later at 12:05 from Holland Kurashev. And that's going to be where we're at the moment. There's 15 shots on goal for the Blues, 12 for the Blackhawks. Leddy over on the right side. Can't wait for the Winter Classic on December 31st. Blues and Blackhawks at Wrigley Field. Bouncing puck, good check there by Toropchenko. Stick checked his way onto it. Still wins the battle, and the puck then ripped by Walker, but blocked before it got to the net. All 5 Chicago Blackhawks players were pretty much within the hash marks.
Yeah, they're closing it down pretty good. And you know, it is preseason, Curbs, but you're starting to look at the lack of scoring right now for St. Louis. Not as a concern, but it's something that needs a little attention, I think. And I think this is where probably Drew Bannister at the intermission is not going to lose it on his team. It's certainly very early. He's not going to show impatience in that way. But at the same time, you're looking at the Columbus game a couple days ago. You're looking at the Blues not putting anything on the board just yet. And Chicago's doing a really good job keeping it to the outside. And this is where the Blues think just got to keep digging in deep.
Slap shot. Well, and don't forget, one of the Blues goals in the Iowa game was scored by Utah.
That's right. There's also a power play goal there for Holloway from Shen.
Holloway, left side, Perunovich to the end boards. Faksa gets hooked. Power play for the Blues coming up. Joseph will pick the puck up. Bennington makes the long skate to the bench. Holloway plays it along the near side, but Chicago gets a hold of it. And late in the second period, the Blues get a chance to find a spark as they go to a power play.
Chicago number 42 has a 2-minute minor for holding.
Well, we saw it so much out of the St. Louis side. Last year, there were games where it was much like this game. You know, being outplayed, being outchanced, and all of a sudden under Drew Bannister, they get a power play in the second half of the season. 2-0 game, you're down. All of a sudden, this power play gives you a little bit of life. And then one turns into two, and then you're right back in the mix. And again, although preseason, this is an opportunity where your power play can go out and just create a spark. Create some energy in the building, energy on the bench. Certainly head into this intermission.
Blues on the power play to the front of the net. Saad digs. Neighbors battling. Dvorsky with a shot. It's blocked. And the Blues recover the puck. Perunovich makes a nice move, but then it's knocked off of his stick. Dvorsky kills the penalty. The power play, rather. He gets in there on. Is that Mikheyev?
It looks like it's Mikheyev, and Jake Neighbors
comes in on him.
Well, Jake Neighbors came right up to Mikheyev. I think Jake Neighbors was maybe calling him out about a bit of an embellishment. I need to see the replay, but Dvorsky's going to get the minor here. Maybe interference is the call. We'll see what
St. Louis number 54 has a 2-minute minor for hooking.
Yeah, he's going to call for a hook. To me, it was a 50-50 battle. I think Dvorsky, he's trying to get it, trying to find the positioning before the possession, which, you know, you're allowed to give a bump. But when you start getting your stick up around the waist side, he did come up underneath the glove a little bit. Mikheyev, I don't know if it was an embellishment.
I think their skates might have gotten tangled in that process, Joe.
I don't think there was a dive by any means, and I think Jake Neighbors just goes in there and chirps him a little bit, gets his attention, and I think we're going to see some 4-on-4 hockey. And it's unfortunate, too, for Dvorsky because he takes that penalty, but just moments before that, Curbs, as you mentioned, he had an empty net on the near side. He goes to pot it in, but it was blocked by a Blackhawk defender.
Well, and that whole play happened. Scott Perunovich made one move, but then the puck lost. So and Dvorsky's trying to play catch-up at that point.
You're right. Maybe that's a moment for Perunovich just to move the puck and live to make a safer play, but he tries to walk through two players and the puck's out of the zone.
So now some 4-on-4 hockey. Blues down still 2-0. Saad with Letty. Couple former Stanley Cup champions with the Chicago Blackhawks. Finding Parayko. That puck gets pulled over on the far side off of Saad. All's going to work it all the way up ice. Saad just stayed with him. Terrific stick checking, didn't take a hook, and then eventually won the puck. Texier to center. In, shooting, save, rebound, Mrazek. With Parayko going to the net, got a piece, and the puck in behind the goal.
Oh, I tell you, what a move there by Texier. You see that at the blue line, looked like he was going to button up. He baited the Blackhawk defender in, then all of a sudden took it right to the net there for a 2-on-1.
Good back check by the Blues. Holloway there. Mikheyev going to stick at him. Bodies are falling everywhere. Puck played towards the line, and P.O. Joseph got a piece to slow it down. 20 seconds to go. Athanasiou lost it to Joseph. He gets the wheels moving. Up the ice. Joseph shooting it right on. That'll stop the clock. All right, I don't think we've had a 77 since Turgeon, right?
Nico Mikkola?
Was he 77? Yes, he was. Yeah, he was
77. Yeah, Nico Mikkola was in the 70s.
All right, he was. Yep. Okay.
But I think before that it was Pierre Turgeon. You're right.
A long time ago. Blues Hall of Famer, and finally Hockey Hall of Famer.
Yeah, about time. Rightfully so too.
How that took so long, I just have no idea.
Nico Mikkola, you're right. It was Nico Mikkola, Stanley Cup champion with the Florida Panthers. He's a part of that Tarasenko trade that sent him off to the Rangers a couple years ago, and then eventually found himself in South Beach and a Stanley Cup champion. Great to see for a good young man, a wonderful gentleman off the ice as well.
Well, the second period is going to come to a close, and just not enough offensive zone time for the St. Louis Blues, Joe.
Yeah, you know, they're out shooting the Blackhawks 20-12, but, you know, Curbs, to me, it's really just about the perimeter. You know, it's two perimeter, it's two to the outside. You know, you're looking at shots from the point, they're not getting through, they're being blocked. You know, maybe shots from the half wall, shots off the rush from the outside. I think the Chicago Blackhawks, when they've hurt the Blues, it's because they've gotten to that inside. They've gotten to that interior core of of the ice. It was a focus for Drew Bannister at the very beginning of the camp, his first day at camp. He said one thing offensively we have to do a better job of is getting to the middle, get around the blue paint. He actually highlighted Jake Neighbors. He goes, look at all of Jake Neighbors' goals last year. They are within a foot of that blue paint. And that's the area it takes a lot of courage to get there, takes a punishment to get there. Again, you're not necessarily concerned. It's still preseason, but it is some of those habits you like to start to kind of evolve and see as this preseason continues to come.
All right, that's Joe Vitale, the Blackhawks, with a 2-0 lead over the St. Louis Blues after 2 periods of play. One more to go on a Saturday night in front of a terrific crowd, by the way, in downtown St. Louis. We'll bring you back in a moment. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
hosting the Chicago Blackhawks in their 4th preseason game right here at Enterprise. Welcome into your Chevy second intermission report. I'm your host, Tina Victor, alongside the very infamous Joey Vitale. And of course, shout out to all our fans at home watching on Victory Plus, and of course, the Blues app and stlouisblues.com. Joey, we see some signs live here in the second period, but right before this started, we were talking about Texier and Leo Louf. They really jumped out here in this period.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, the team success, they're not really having it just yet.
But to me, I like to identify some individuals that, to me, are really jumping off the page. I think Hugh McGing has looked very sharp. He had a couple really good chances in that first period. He's hounding pucks. Leo Loof has been physical. He tried to drag someone into the fight earlier. You have to appreciate the willfulness of his physicality. And you look at some other players across the board, I think there's some really nice matchups. I think Chicago continues to have their way with the Blues a little bit in the offensive zone. The Blues have had some offensive zone time. A little bit too perimeter. I think they made it a little bit easy on Mrazek there, but certainly some adjustments coming in the third period.
Of course. All right, let's take a look at those second period highlights. And one thing to note, the Blues are out shooting the Blackhawks 20-12, so a good positive right there. But right off the hop, let's take a look at Jake Neighbors here. He's been all over the puck, a lot of physicality and getting a lot of chances. He had a great season last year, 27 goals for him, and we can expect more and more of that.
Well, exactly right. I mean, here's a 2-on-1 set up from Toropchenko for Jake Neighbors. He wanted to get it over to Dvorsky. That back pressure right there by Taylor Hall really puts the pressure on him. But like you mentioned, Jake Neighbors is going to be so huge and a big piece of this team's success. And how about Alexei Toropchenko? Good sticks right through the middle of the ice. He's the one that set up that 2-on-1. They're going to lean on him heavily again this year for killing penalties, playing in the bottom six role. The good news is you can kind of sneak him up there on the second line when he's got that motor going. A very rare specimen in the sense that he is so big, but also he skates so incredibly well. Great in and around the net, drags bodies with him. So this is going to be another huge player here for St. Louis this season.
And tonight, St. Louis Blues fans are really getting a look at some of the newer acquisitions that we have here on this team. We mentioned Texier earlier, Faksa, all those guys getting a good look at him here tonight.
Yeah, listen, we talked about Texier a little bit. Loved his game. He's been a skillful player. You can play him up and down the lineup, penalty kill, power play. But then Radek Faksa, he's a player the Blues fans have seen all too much in the last 9 seasons with the Dallas Stars, and certainly now he's going to be a good third-line anchor right in the middle, plays a very similar style of game to Oscar Sundqvist, the way he can play physical, takes pride in the defensive zone. So wonderful young pieces, veteran pieces as well, that are going to add to that lower, let's call it bottom 6 of this group. There's another move by Texier. That was right at the end of the period. Just a silky smooth young player. Over 200 games in the National Hockey League. So that's no slouchy number. You look at his last 3 seasons, 1 year in the Swiss, the other 2 at Columbus. He's always scoring double-digit goals every year, which, according to the bottom 6 in the league this day and age, you have to be able to chip in offensively, and he certainly can do it.
And you have to be really proud of that, to have that kind of guy on your team. All right, we have a lot of Blues hockey coming up. Of course, 2 more preseason games right here at Enterprise, but everyone's looking for the home opener, right?
Yes, the Wild.
That's going to be October 15th. The Blues will open the season on the road, but then get here October 15th. There are still tickets for you, and it's going to be a fun night.
Absolutely. I mean, the Minnesota Wild, they have a way of bringing out the very best in the Blues, and the Blues have a way of bringing out the best in the Minnesota Wild. And always great to see former Blue Billy Guerin back in the house. He's the general manager for the Blues, so it'll be a fun night. October 15th, mark your calendar.
And look, you get a little calendar giveaway presented by Dab, so
Can't have too many of those. I'm a calendar guy.
You are. I am the same way. You got to have everything in there.
My wife uses her phone.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I need to see it. I need to see it.
All right, Joey, we were talking about some of the new guys, and Nathan Walker got to chat with them earlier a few weeks ago at the Blues for Kids golf tournament, and he got to check out what's in their golf bag.
You guys probably starting on hole 8. So.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey guys, Nathan Walker here. We're at the Blues for Kids golf tournament. We're going to go check out what's in everybody's bag. Come with me. Did you bring the box of balls that they gave us?
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to need them.
What?
I feel like you might need them. We're going to do what's in your bag. Can you show me what's in your bag?
No, I can't.
Probably a bunch of golf balls and probably about 10 gloves.
10 gloves, just in case they rip. You want to make sure you're ready to go.
I probably got 5 broken ones already and then a couple new ones.
Okay, fair enough. Do you want to run us through what's in your golf bag?
Just the clubs and lots of balls.
I hope you got clubs in there. Lots of balls?
Lots of balls because of my balls going left to right, so I need more balls, like 36 or how many?
Sunglasses.
You play with glasses on?
Yeah, I don't use clubs.
Al McInnes, he's going to run us through what's in his bag and what clubs he hits. Take it away.
Well, I'm a dedicated guy. I've had TaylorMades for the longest time, so
loyal.
Very, and all TaylorMades.
What's your putter? What putter do you use?
Cobra.
Cobra. Why is that?
No idea, just like
Just liked it. Fair enough.
I go into the store, like buy I score one, I say it's my stick.
Just a beautiful driver.
Nice driver,
Tailor-made.
which you never hit.
Yeah, I don't hit it.
You may as well take it out of the bag.
Yeah.
Probably sell that. Get rid of that one.
Down there.
And put it on the ground. Lefty?
Lefty.
Yeah,
lefty.
like in the hockey world?
Two putters in case I can't putt. The first one.
A lefty and a righty putter?
This guy, what's going on, buddy?
This is my golf bag right here. I got a little speaker on the outside. I like listening to music when we play. I got 2 towels. My clubs tend to get pretty dirty, especially when I'm hitting from the rough half the time too. Where's your bag? Where's your bag?
Over there.
Want to go check your bag out?
Not really. My bag's dust.
What's your driver here? What's your go-to?
I actually have the Paradigm in my car, but I like this one better. Stealth.
Stealth?
I think. Yeah,
okay.
Stealth too.
Very nice.
Kind of nice. I can't drive it, but it's nice.
That's okay.
Looks good.
At least they can drive the cart.
Yeah, exactly.
Nathan Walker, and we're going to go start my round. See you guys.
Always love listening to Nathan Walker, and he's always just so entertaining out there. But we have a lot more going on at Enterprise other than just blues hockey. Some cool concerts coming here into town. Let's take a look at what's coming up.
Jelly Roll, the Beautifully Broken Tour. October 23rd, Enterprise Center. With Warren Zeiders and Alexandra Kay. Jelly Roll, live. On sale now at livenation.com. For more, visit jellyroll615.com.
Oh, he is very talented. Of course, we also got Nicki Minaj here coming into the building on Wednesday, October 2nd. And one more here, we have Maxwell as well. So make sure you get your tickets and check those concerts out. A lot of fun action coming for you. And let's send it down to Reagan. We have some more entertainment before we get back into the game action.
Thanks, Danita. Okay, Blues fans, for the first time this season, please give it up for the lovely ladies of the Blue Crew. Gentlemen, give it up one more time for your 2024-2025 Blue Crew. And
Joey, how are your dance moves?
Pretty good. Not
Pretty good?
quite that level.
No? All right, we can't.
Not
So we're
quite
not getting a
there.
glimpse of that.
Not yet.
All right, Joey, 3 preseason games left before we head into the regular season. What can fans expect here?
It's going to start ramping up. I mean, that last game in Milwaukee, I don't expect the Blues to bring a lot of regulars as they're going to be opening up in Seattle a couple days later. So to me, the next 2 home games are really it. You know, 2 home games after tonight. That's when we're going to start to see what this regular lineup is going to look like come opening night against that Minnesota Wild team, like you mentioned, Danita.
You can expect the intensity to amplify. All right, third period action is coming up next. Get your seats for the Blues and the Blackhawks.
Blackhawks. Glad to have you joining us up in Chicago. Chicago Blackhawks website or their app on Victory Plus in both the Chicago area and the St. Louis area. And, of course, on all the Blues channels, as well as our flagship station, 101 ESPN. Chris Kerber and Joe Vitale with you here at Enterprise Center. The Blackhawks with a 2-0 lead. No goal scoring in the second period. All the goal scoring coming in the first. Kurashev at 10:05, Maroon at 12:05. Allen and Dvorsky in the penalty box to open up the second period as carryover penalties. Chicago Blackhawks, young defenseman Nolan Allen will come out of the box in 6 seconds, and that will give the Blackhawks a 17-second power play. So 4-on-4 hockey. Puck is dropped. The goaltenders have been switched as well, so Colton Ellis in net as Allen comes out of the penalty box. Ellis in net for the St. Louis Blues. Razik stays in for the Blackhawks. Time ticks down on the 13 seconds for Dvorsky. He's out of the box. Chicago in the blue zone. Korchinski with a shot towards the net. Deflected away by Athanasiou. And now Maroon digs in, and Parayko does a great job kicking it away from his fellow championship teammate. The puck dumped right back in. Nick Leddy's going to go after it. Man, it is great to still see him playing. I got to tell you.
Yeah, really
I
good.
really do. Makes me happy. I got to get over the jersey, but it makes me happy.
I know, I was gonna say.
Listen, you're born in St. Louis. Rivalries matter, right?
Really testing your patience here, I would imagine.
18:50 to go. Puck turned over. Holloway uses his speed and reach. Sticks it into the corner. Met there by Mikheyev. Putting the pressure on him as well as Isaac Phillips. The puck comes off the wall on the near side. Toropchenko. The P.O. Joseph helping out. The puck goes off of Holloway. Snapped into the middle on Mikheyev's stick. Nice job. That one's played over to Crevier. Phillips will hit it ahead. Broken up by Joseph. Mikheyev there as well. Blues have a lot of decisions to make. Not just in terms of who makes the roster, but where do players fit in the roster. As a shot comes to the net, and Ellis will get a piece of it, knock it to the corner. Over to the far wing, shot on Ellis, the save, body's falling, and the Blues find the puck. Backhanded out.
Yeah, it looks like Colton Dock was looking for a holding call. Looked like maybe P.O. Joseph wrapped up his stick as he was going to that near side for a rebound chance. Joseph may have gotten away with one right there.
Colton Dock's brother Kirby, of course, was play whistle dead on a hand pass. Was drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks as well, but then traded to Montreal. It's with the draft pick that the Blackhawks got in that trade that the Blackhawks end up taking Colton Dock. That will always be a neat little story tying those two together.
Say,
beyond just being brothers. Back to the other comment, Joe, about cutting things down. With the AHL camp poised to open up Monday. You got to expect that in all likelihood, if not after the game tonight, tomorrow, camp's going to get a lot smaller in St. Louis, and you got to figure maybe as many as 15 or so players end up going down to begin the AHL camp.
well, and again, you go back to the next two home games, to me, are the preseason for the St. Louis Blues as far as nailing in their roster. Tuesday, they host the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I believe that next Thursday game, Curbs against the Dallas Stars on this home sheet, that's going to be just about as close to a full lineup as we're going to see come the Seattle Kraken night just about 5-6 days later.
Here on the near side, Hawks in, take a slap shot, it goes wide. Yeah, I agree with you, Joe. You got to think that in all likelihood you see Joel Hofer for an entire game and then Binnington for an entire game.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I would imagine seeing Hofer on that Tuesday Columbus game for full 3 periods, and then Jordan Binnington for the full 3 on that Thursday game against the Dallas Stars. And like I said, they wrap it up there in Milwaukee on that next Saturday, a week from today. Again, you can't see them traveling too many because the very next day, that Sunday, October 6th, is when they're traveling out to Seattle. They're going to get their extra day early because of that game, that early afternoon game like we mentioned on Tuesday.
Chicago dumps the puck in, 16:23 to go. Kessel defending. Hawks get inside of the net. Kekrin chops it ahead. Hugh McGing will go to bring it out, and it's tried to send it forward. Couldn't connect there to Kaskamaki. Vlasic gets to the puck, and Chicago will bring it up the near side. Taylor Hall in on Kessel, who turned, stumbled a bit. That allowed the shot to get to the goal. Turned away by Ellis. Another wrist shot blocked off a skate of Kaskamaki, out of play. 15:53 to go. We're in the third period of play. And the Chicago Blackhawks have a 2-0 lead on your St. Louis Blues.
Well, awesome opportunity here for Matthew Kessel, too. He gets tripped up a little bit on that Taylor Hall one-on-one near side, but always had a pretty good camp so far. Playing with Loop there on this bottom pair, but, you know, I think if you had to guess what these D pairings would look like right now, to me, I think Matthew Kessel is right alongside Ryan Suter, the veteran who's closing in on 1,500 games. And I'll tell you what, sometimes you just got to thank your lucky stars, but if Matthew Kessel can find himself playing with Ryan Suter a lot this year, talk about learning from a wonderful mentor who's been around the league a long, long time.
Maroon off Perunovic, centers. It's blocked away, and now a shot goes wide of the net. Oh, woo! Man, going down to block a slap shot.
Dylan Holloway.
Wow.
He's a gamer, boy. Boy, he has some just awesome moments like that. And that cup run for the Edmonton Oilers a few months ago. When you look at the way he plays, he had a great goal in Des Moines last week from Braden Shen, quick release, but not only the offensive prowess, not only the darting, the stopping, the starting, the quickness, but he puts his body on the line just about every night, like you saw right there.
15 and a half to go. Near wing, brought over the line, driving the net, in front, Joseph, couldn't get a shot away. Feet get tangled up as Perunovic goes down. Holloway to the front of the net, they score! Holloway will get the goal, Mrazek made the save. And the puck, I think, went off the skate of Crevier and in. And the Blues are on the board, they've made it a 2-1 game. 15:16 to play, third period.
Well, you know, sometimes this game pays you back the way it's supposed to. At one end, you have Dylan Holloway, we're just talking about him. He lays out, goes Superman style in the defensive zone, blocks a shot off his skate blade. Puck goes up, the attention of his teammates, everyone standing up, banging their sticks. Moments later, face-off win by St. Louis. They end up taking him to the offensive zone. Good plays defensively, leads a good plays offensively. He makes a heck of a play throwing at the net and takes a very fortunate bounce with Joseph going to the net. And Dylan Holloway with his second of the preseason. And he seems like he's getting very comfortable early on here in St. Louis.
Now, do you like the way hockey does it, where even if it goes in off the other guy, they give the credit to the last guy that touched it versus the own goal thing in soccer, which I've never really liked?
1,000%. I'm waiting for the day soccer changes that rule. How many times is it a cross?
Like deflecting off a guy and then you give it an own goal? Like,
I mean, that's a good play. You're putting it to an area where there's a lot of bodies. I don't see why soccer does it that way, but I absolutely. The hardest one they had the other day was, oh man, nice tip there. Was the own goal by Utah, trying to figure out when.
Oh yeah,
they had to go way back, about 1:20 in hockey time to find out.
Right, and very rarely, if ever, will the guy who took the penalty to cause the delayed penalty get credit for a goal.
Yes, in the same shift.
On the same play.
Got a delayed penalty and a penalty and also goal in the same shift. Without stoppage of time. I don't think you're going to see another play like that in our lifetime, Curbs.
Parayko with a wrist shot. The Blues are on the board. It's a 2-1 game. Hawks scored twice in the first. No scoring in the second. Holloway got it to the front of the net and the puck goes in. Leddy takes two Blackhawks to the wall and gets crunched.
Yeah, sandwiched him like a says eat the sandwich.
Texier, 25-year-old from France, turns to the front of the net. Shot on. Mrazek the save. Now Dvorsky. You see things in Dalibor Dvorsky, Joe, that show you that he's going to be a very good player. You also show things that you can see a difference in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, well, right there, he turns up in the offensive zone, and he kind of just makes a play to the point there.
Side right on.
He needs to take a little bit of a head check and one extra look, but it's going to come in time.
Because a player with that kind of hockey IQ is going to understand and figure out the speed.
It's only natural. Kessel takes a penalty here for interference.
Hey, before we get to this next penalty, let's remind everybody that new this season is the Hat Trick subscription program. Provides fans with a ticket to 3 preset games per month for one low price. It renews each month, but when a fan needs a little more flexibility to accommodate your schedule, you can opt out and pick up the subscription when you're ready. Interference is the penalty on Kessel, so the Hat Trick subscription subscribers can also link their accounts to friends or family members to secure adjacent seats. When you say secure adjacent seats, that's a really fancy way of saying you can link your account so you can sit next to your buddy.
I like that.
Okay?
I like that.
Which way? The secure adjacent seats or sit next to your buddy?
I like the second part.
Okay, sit next to your buddy. So if you want to sit next to your buddy or buddies, that'd be with an IES. You get the Hat Trick subscription, and I guess we got to go to a break, Joe. We'll bring you back in a moment. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Kessel, St. Louis, 2 minutes interference at 6:26.
Now the Blues go to the penalty kill. Kessel in the box for interference. Chicago onto a power play. They just surrendered their first goal of the game. Blues made it a 2-1 game on the goal by Holloway at 4:44. Now the Blackhawks have a chance to regain that 2-goal lead. All the way around with it. Nazar on the handoff. Holloway cycling with Maroon. They bring it over to Nazar on the near wing. Straight away. Shot on. Through the screen of Maroon. That Colton Ellis had a piece of it. Brayko breaks it loose. Chips it off the wall to himself. He just skates it out. Here he comes. He's got the red. Over the blue. Offside.
He's building towards something great there, but unfortunately the step offside. You know, I tell you, Pat Maroon took a shot right to the back of the knee from the outside. I tell you, Chicago fans, they're going to love this kid. That last play when Matthew Kessel takes the interference call, I believe it was on Colton Dock. Dock goes down, and right at that TV timeout, you had Jake Neighbors going up to the young Chicago forward, getting in his face, maybe a possible another embellishment. That to me is the only thing that Jake Neighbors could be saying. And then what happens right after that? Pat Maroon gets off the bench, goes right after Jake Neighbors, and they're jawing at each other. And both teams have their spark plugs in place, no doubt.
Blackhawks in, broken up by Toropchenko. Puck cleared out. 12:14 to go. Third period, 2-1. Chicago on top. Another 34 seconds of power play time as they get it over the line. I know it is the preseason, but it's nice to see a Chicago power play without Patrick Kane or eventually a Bedard. We know it won't be that way for long. Here's a slap shot on. Ellis will make the save. When you really think about it, all those years you'd go into and, you know, you got that steady style of Jonathan Toews and then just that flash of a guy you could arguably say is the greatest American-born hockey player in Kane. And for them now to give way and to watch the growth of Bedard, you know, really, it's a bright future for the Chicago Blackhawks. And they're moving in now where you don't have to keep worrying about we need high draft picks. Now you got to get guys developed, and you got to get some of those other draft picks moved out and bringing in guys to speed the process up.
Absolutely. And, you know, they did a good job this year bringing in veterans, whether it be a Bertuzzi. We've mentioned Pat Maroon enough. You still have a Taylor Hall, Nick Foligno, now your captain there in Chicago. So plenty of support around Bedard from a veteran standpoint.
Here's a shot on. Ellis will make the save. It's something that we talked to Blues general manager Doug Armstrong about. And I'll say, like, use the Columbus Blue Jackets as an example. Eventually you get a lot of draft picks. You don't have one, they're not all going to hit. And both the Blues and the Blackhawks are seeing that. But you bring in enough of them, you grow enough of them, and then at some point you've got to use those assets to move them and bring guys in and speed that process up by a year or two. Holloway and Broberg are great examples of taking an asset. In the case this year for the Blues, the asset was cap space, and you sped it up by getting a 14th and a 12th overall pick that have had a couple years of seasoning already. If you don't do that, you end up just kind of mired with youth that gets kind of rutted, don't you think?
No, you really do, and that's what makes that offer sheet between these Edmonton boys so special, is because they are both first rounders. They're both young and relatively inexperienced, but the experience they gathered by playing in that Stanley Cup run with the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, to me, that's about as good as gold. And St. Louis basically just leveraged all the experience from Edmonton and just brought them right in fresh.
Here's Neighbors.
Look at
on the near side. Hospital pass to Kessel as we're back at even strength. Nothing Kessel could do but chase it down as Mikheyev knocked it away, and then he gets it right back up ice and dumps it in. Mrazek to Phillips. Isaac Phillips, 23-year-old, 6'3", fifth-round draft pick in his fifth year of pro hockey. Had to have patience with those defensemen. Got a solid young one there. Goes down into the corner. McGing bumped into by Phillips. Digging in as well as Crevier. Puck comes off the wall. Kaskamaki steered it over to Hugh McGing. What a pass back to Kaskamaki. It's a little bit of space. Slings it in behind the net. McEachran to the blue line. Kaskamaki into traffic. It got blocked out. Hawks deflected off Sanford to the Blues zone. That's an icing call. 9:44 to go in the third period. Blues trailing 2-1.
Well, heck of a job there by Mackenzie McEachran, who's working on the big Crevier there in that far corner. And you look at Mackenzie McEachran, and he's no small soldier. And then you look at him compared to Crevier there, and you really see the size of big number 46 here for Chicago.
Side of Peter Mrazek signed a new extension with the Blackhawks. He's been great for their rebuild, giving them some consistency and solid goaltending in net. You have to have that to grow, and the puck goes in to the corner from Parayko. Gets it back. Boy, his skating has been good this preseason, hasn't it?
Yeah, look at him jump too.
Cut it back. I still believe there's a Norris Trophy candidate in there.
Oh, man.
Didn't get a chance to fire that cannon.
Hear the fans, too. A little bit in front of him on that front foot.
Leddy In front, deflection. Walker, wide, jams at it. The puck at the goal line. Parenko says it went in. Mrazek tried to keep it out. Parenko said he saw it go over the line. He's pointing at it. The referee says no goal. You won't see a replay here in the preseason.
Oh, what an absolute beautiful play here by Nick Leddy at the point. And he has Nathan Walker coming across the high slot. Perfectly placed tip. And he gets his own rebound right there. I tell you what, Mrazek's in the net. They're going to talk it over.
Say they push the goalie in, maybe?
Yeah, you know what? You saw a little bit of a spear from Nathan Walker, but he follows up on his own rebound, and you got to love this little player, man. He plays with, you would think he's 6'8" the way he plays.
He's the kind of guy that you say you're welcome in my fire anytime.
Absolutely, absolutely. He jabs, he pulls, he's prying. Man, I tell you what, that's about as close as it gets. We still have not seen a good look at it.
Well,
calling the
regular season, you'd see a replay, but here the easy route for them is to say they push the goalie in.
The call on the ice is a good goal.
Whoa!
There you go.
Whoa! Well, what the heck do we know? 2-2 the score.
The only thing,
man, would I love to be a part of that discussion there.
The only thing I can think of,
looked up and saw it.
The only thing I can think of is that some referee or linesman got a different view from the lead referee who made the non-call remark behind the net. And you know what? Good on them. Not going to waste too much time with it. Call it a goal. Tie game. Let's keep rocking and rolling here. But Nathan Walker gets a good old pat on the back from head coach Drew Bannister after that wonderful effort. Not only the tip, but again, just getting body position, getting low, using his body to get an extra spear in. Sneaking past Mrazek. Oh yeah, I tell you what, you still can't get a good view of it. I mean, there was no shot that we saw that showed that puck across the goal line.
Look at Maroon digging in with Perunovic. Perunovic did a good job standing him up, and the puck gets knocked over the line. Foxa. Oh, you see the way Foxa just shoveled Allen away. That's the size. 8.5 to go. We're tied 2-2. 2 in the first for Chicago. 2 in the third for the Blues. Said in Wayne's World it's a do-over. Puck deflects out of play. So it'll be Walker from Toropchenko and Leddy on the goal. 2-2 the score. 8:16 to go in the third. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Mention it as we welcome you back to the Enterprise Center with 8:16 to go in the third. 2-2's a score. We mentioned it at the last intermission. I would imagine that Drew Bannister, one of the things on his agenda to go over the team was getting to that interior curve. He talked about getting to the middle of the ice, around the blue paint. And boy, you can't give a better example. I mean, that is textbook. Nathan Walker getting to the blue paint right there, not only on the high tip, but the willingness to stick around there and jab away to tie this game up. And create some energy here in this building. We're going to be in for a good little show here down the stretch with 8 minutes to go.
8:06 to go. The Blues, the Blackhawks. I don't care if it's preseason, it's a rivalry. It's one of the best ones in sports, too. What we need is both teams to get back to relevance, and it'll get really good. Up to the blue line. Vlasic with a drive. Ellis the save. It jumped off the page at me, Joe, when in an interview with The Athletic, when Robert Thomas was asked about what teams they think are the biggest rivals, and he said Minnesota and Colorado. And I'm like, to steal the great comedian, the young guy who passed away a few years ago, John Panette, nay. Blackhawks have always got to be involved there. But unfortunately, sometimes rivalries, you got to get back to playoffs. You got to get back to some relevance to have it happen.
You do, yeah. That's the old school when you talk about the Blackhawks. But I think for the younger generation, you look at the way the Colorado Avalanche and the Blues have battled. The Minnesota Wild and Blues have had some great playoff series lately as well.
Yes. Up to the blue line, wrist shot on. Ellis will make another save. And the reality of it is if you go back to the 2000-2001 season, there's really only been a very small window where, and I'd likely say maybe 3-4 years total, where both teams are kind of really good enough to do that. You had the Blues back in 2016 that eliminated Chicago in 7 games, a Troy Brouwer goal down here to our right. A couple years before that, you had the Blues with a 2-0 lead on the Blackhawks, and then the Blackhawks came back. Roman Polak's pass intercepted by Taves in the 3rd period. In a tie game in Game 6, Taves puts it in. Blackhawks close the series out in Game 6. Things like that. Early 2000s in the playoffs, Brent Johnson shut the Blackhawks out 3 consecutive games in a row in the playoffs, right? But really, except for a couple things like that, they haven't had their windows open at the same time.
Right. When you're looking at maybe Curbs, I think thinking future here. I mean, the Blues are primed and ready now moving forward. I think Chicago, again, maybe a little bit behind St. Louis, but when you're breaking down the next decade,
it could happen.
This is a rivalry that's going to start intensifying here pretty quickly.
Yeah. They both are in that retool, rebuild window where it's close enough that enough overlap if they continue in the right direction should really bring a lot of that back.
Well, and I think that, you have certain players currently on the roster right now. I mean, I'm telling you right now, Pat Maroon is going to intensify this.
Oh, yeah.
This rivalry starting this year.
I hope he does. 6:32 to go. Kaskamaki digging in. Hawks go to clear it out. 2-2 the score. Big thanks to everybody tuning in on the Victory Plus app. We appreciate their partnership throughout this preseason. For tuning in on the app or Chicago Blackhawks website up in the Chicago area or here in St. Louis on the Blues channels, as well as our flagship station. Preseason hockey. 2-2 the score. Blues have tied it in the 3rd. Texier walks it down low through the legs, creates some space. Gets it to the blue line. Luke with a shot, and that deflects over to the far side. Puck gets cleared out into the neutral zone and sent there by Cini into the Blues end.
I'll tell you what, first look at Texier Curbs in the game. This young man's got a set of hands on him. Real rangy. Reminds you a little bit of Zach Sanford back in that 19 season too, but real slippery with the puck. He gets out of trouble even when he's got 2 guys on him.
Well, again, you're talking about a 2nd round draft pick. The Blues get to the side of the net. Texier put it on. Good hold in there by Dvorsky.
Reminds me, I took my son Harper trout fishing this year, Curbs.
I love it.
He caught a rainbow trout and tried to hold it up for a picture. That thing was so slimy, it was slipping all over the place.
Where'd you take him trout fishing?
We ended up going down to Steel City, or Sealville down there.
Yep.
Where where float trips are. I went down there, and man, we had some fun. We knocked him dead.
5 minutes to go in the 3rd period. There's some great trout fishing here in Missouri.
Absolutely, there is.
Parayko's got the puck. He likes to trout fish. He gets the puck out to Saad. Right back to Parayko. Down the right wing, throws on the brakes. All intercepts. Neighbors trying to get in on him. Canton in that TJ Oshie, give it all you got style, kind of falls to the ice. And look who's got it again. Neighbors, and he'll put it down into the corner.
Well, it's not pretending to give it your all.
Right.
There's nothing phony about it. He really is giving every inch he's got.
Puck sent down into the corner by Neighbors. Boy, the writing is on the wall that we may have seen the last of TJ in the National Hockey League. I can sit back with a little bit of hope and say I hope we get at least one more chance.
I do too.
You know, like he's the individual he was, and honestly a lot like Jake Neighbors. True person right from the start. Has that been that way every day of his career to any person he has met in this game of hockey?
Yes, and you know what? He loved the game. You know, nowadays you see a lot of players they play it for certain reasons. You know, is money a factor, whatever, but he loved it.
Joseph brings it in. At the circle, leaves it. In behind the net, Holloway circles the goal to his shooting lane. Works it into the circle as he does a complete 360. And now dumps it down low to Matthew Joseph. Hugh McGing hanging out in front of the net. Pass to Kessel intercepted, and Colton Dock will get to the puck. Send it up and in. Good defense there by Dock as it's cut off in the corner by Loof. You got to root for him to make the team sometime this year just because of the name. Got to be honest with you.
And the number 46, the old Roman
There you
Pollock.
go. Yep. Wow, come on.
Well,
come on.
Krejci?
Well, yeah, okay. Classic. Breadman.
Breadman, maybe?
Breadman. Listen.
No, you're pulling for him. You're right. Physical kid.
You were traded for Pavel Datsyuk.
I mean,
come on.
Someone's got to say it.
Classic. Up ice, wide of the net. That's icing. 2:42 to go in the third period of play. Hey, head to that St. Louis Blues website. Whether you're interested in season tickets, group sales, group suites, the kids club, it's free. Theme nights, promotional nights. You can get it all at stlouisblues.com.
Yeah, you were talking about Jake Neighbors. We were talking about the other day. You brought up a good point. You know, people have been asking us, Curbs, hey, can he keep up with this? Can he double down? And I mean, 27 goals last year as a 22-year-old. And you brought up a good point, and I reiterated to someone yesterday, you know, you don't need to. You don't need him to get 30 goals. You don't need him to get close to 30. I mean, if you get 20 goals out of Jake Neighbors in the next few years, you're thanking your lucky stars.
Here's a shot. Joseph got it on. Texier returns it. The net deflects up over the glass and out of play. I had to go home a couple times, look in the mirror and said, geez, at what point did I start looking like a gypsy or walking around like I got some kind of crystal ball? Because all the radio interviews I'm doing and people keep asking, can this guy do this? Is this guy going to do that? I go, I have no idea when I became clairvoyant in the future, but I have severely misused that talent if I have it somewhere.
You'd be a great weatherman if you did.
Yeah. 2.5 to go. Back in a moment. 2-2 the score. Oh, that's happening. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. During that last break, they just put a young fan up on the board with a shirt, a black shirt, white letters that said, I heart hot hockey moms. Now, of course, at that point, it's funny as heck you want to see it, but I'm going, okay, I got to meet that kid's dad. Like, who bought that shirt? And,
it was funny.
There's a sense of humor in somebody that you might want to grab a beer with.
It was funny to me, Curbs, until my son, who's sitting right next to me, Harper, goes, "That's the shirt I've been wanting, Dad."
That's not happening.
That's not happening, Harper.
1:57 to go. 2-2 the score. Look out, Topik in the middle. Texier shooting. Mrazek, nice save. Dockel clear for Chicago. Kessel to get it for the Blues. Long pass through center. Toropchenko in with a shot, and Vlasic helps steer it wide of the goal is Korchinski. They got a good young defenseman in that Kevin Korchinski.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Keep an eye on the Blues
flex
here.
Through the neutral zone.
They're making a good little push here. Yeah. A lot of pressure on Texier. Almost put a cherry on top of his great night. Good save there by Mrazek. Late Toropchenko hunting pucks there as well. And St. Louis finally starting to find their legs here in this third period.
Kevin Korchinski is just 20 years of age. Played 76 games last year for Chicago. And again, you talk about how you use your assets. He was the 7th overall pick, and the Blackhawks got that from Ottawa when they traded DeBrincat to the Ottawa Senators. 1:20 to go in the third. We're tied 2-2. Terrific, terrific crowd on schedule night. They gave away the schedule here in the preseason. Brought to you by Pepsi. Great Saturday night crowd for a preseason game, Joe.
I love a good schedule, Curbs. I've always loved a good schedule. I like to see it in front of me. Holding it in my hands right now. Wonderful schedule.
Every time you go in to keep making sure that your yeast strain is alive, you know when you have to travel again.
That's exactly right. I can plan out my yeast feeding schedule. I can see it. My wife, she's all about her schedule on her phone. I don't like the schedule on my phone. I like seeing it in front of me. So this works out.
Well, you know
very
your phone
well.
can be in front of you.
Well, you know the phone can die. Your phone can drop it in the toilet. You can drop it in the lake if you're trout fishing. A lot of things can happen to that phone. Not a lot can happen to my schedule that's hanging on my fridge.
Face-off won by the Hawks. 1:05 to go. Korchinski in front. Hall's got a couple of points tonight. Back to Korchinski. Behind the net it goes. Mikheyev. Back to the near wing. Parayko skates on to it. Up to Matthew Joseph. Rolls too far. Broken up by Kurashev. He got tied up in the stick of Joseph. Nothing happened on the play. The officials let it go. 37 seconds to go. Let's go Blues chant. A busy weekend here in downtown St. Louis. Crowded here. Crowded over at City Park. Billy Joel and Sting tomorrow night. Puck up to the blue line. Slap shot blocked out of the zone. Racing to it. Holloway. One man to beat. Fires it on. Mrazek the save. Phillips gets a piece of it. Blues keep it in the offensive zone. Lose it along the far wall. 8 seconds to go. Maroon's going to clear it out. Neighbors got rid of it quick. Heard that big rig coming rumbling at you. And we're going to go to overtime. 2-2 the score. We got a 60-second break. We'll bring you back to St. Louis in a moment. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. To the score. We head to overtime here in St. Louis. Kurashev and Maroon for the Blackhawks in the first. Holloway and Walker for the Blues in the third. And we'll go to 3-on-3 overtime here. Joe, we need an overtime goal. Where if we get it, we're going to dedicate it to Gabby. She turned 18 yesterday. My middle daughter.
Big 18, an adult.
Big 18.
That's awesome. Yep. Happy birthday, Gabby. She can wear whatever kind of shirt she wants to wear now officially.
Yep.
She wants a Hockey Moms or Hop shirt. She can wear that shirt.
She can do whatever she wants. Parkway West had a gritty volleyball effort in the Oakville tournament today. Half the team sick and banged up, and they made it through a few games. Here we go, overtime. Parayko.
They use Radek Faksa for the face-off, and the face-off only. They win it. He gets off the ice. Now here comes Texier.
Texier, Parayko, and Holloway. Parayko moves the puck up. Holloway behind the D. Holloway's in, and his shot gets blocked away. What a recovery by Parayko. Texier again to Holloway. And Holloway has it backed out of the corner. Fires it over to Texier. Glove save. Mrazek.
Wow, these young kids are fun, man. I tell you what, Dylan Holloway, he's got 2 goals on the preseason, 1 here tonight. Working with Texier, it was his first look as a Blue here in tonight's game. And they're getting the first call in the overtime with Parayko on the backside there. Holloway, just the way he darts to space and creates, almost just buries in the backhand there on the move, and eventually takes the puck back over, ever so patient with it, not in a rush to make a play, and finally waits for Texier to find a little gap, puts it right on his blade, and another great save by Mrazek to keep this game tied.
Hawks will get possession off the face-off. They work it up ice. Mikheyev out of the far corner. Over to the far wing. The speedy Athanasiou on the ice, and he's got the puck. Cycles that one down low. Korchinski chased by Dvorsky. Dvorsky and Saad on the ice with Perunovic. Athanasiou battling with Saad, keeps the puck. Mikheyev drops it off. Korchinski cuts it into the middle on his forehand. Colton Ellis in net for the St. Louis Blues. Binnington started the first 2 periods. Ellis started the third. Mrazek's played the whole game for Chicago. 3:45 to go in overtime. Mikheyev in the offensive zone. Athanasiou driving the net on the backhand. Nobody on the back door. Dvorsky's going to get the puck for the Blues onto the tape of Saad. Works it up. Dvorsky to the net with Saad on the puck. Saad on his backhand. To the goal and a toe save. Mrazek. Dvorsky trying to recover the puck for the Blues and does. 3:22 to go.
Well, you'd love to see Dvorsky bury one right here, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
That would do a ton for his confidence.
Neighbors with speed. Steam in. Has to go to the corner with it. Flips it back to the point. That thing's bouncing, and Joseph's going to bring it out. It ate him up. Stays on it. And Neighbors quickly back to help out. 2 minutes gone in overtime. Hawks change 2. Blues bring it in. Neighbors down low. Fires it, and another glove save. Mrazek. Peter Mrazek for a preseason game has been good tonight.
You know, and he's been sharp. And, you know, the Chicago Blackhawks decided to keep him in the cage not only for 3 periods, but then through overtime. So he's getting plenty of minutes. He's been flashing that leather. He's had some really nice glove saves. And, you know, you go back to the 2 goals he's allowed. The one was off a defenseman. Yep. Not much you can do there. And then, of course, the other one could have actually been a save. We never really got the validation that went in on the Nathan Walker poke. So he's looked very sharp. Just made his 32nd save of the night right there.
Joseph, Neighbors, and Leddy on the ice, and the Hawks win the draw. Now with a head of steam, they get it in. Vlasic to the goal. Ellis the save. The puck goes in behind the net. 4 players bang for it. Which team wins it? The Blues come out with it. Matthew Joseph's pass through the stick of Neighbors goes to Kurashev.
Well, keep an eye on the Blues now. They're a little bit tired. Chicago's going to get some fresh change of bodies out there right now.
They get the puck into Taylor Hall. Now to the Swiss-born Kurashev. Down low to Hall. Walks it to the net. Jammed away by Matthew Joseph, and it's rimmed into the near side. Can Leddy get there? You can see the legs starting to get heavy.
Oh, that's a big puck win right there for Nick Leddy. Now he's going to slow it down and allow everyone to change.
Holloway's coming back on, skates it in the back. Boy, that's speed on speed with Holloway and Athanasiou chasing him down, and here they go. Over to the right side, pass to Leddy. He's going to backhand it ahead. They get it to Holloway. Holloway's in. Shoot! Score! Overtime winner, Dylan Holloway. 2 goals in the game and a 3-2 Blues win. You can bring out the Zamboni.
scripted any other way than that. Dylan Holloway, he deserves to have the game winner. I thought his game got better and better each and every period. He's been phenomenal in the preseason. A pickup here from Edmonton, and it has just been a very quick transition. His third goal of the preseason. He almost ended it in his first shift in overtime when Texier comes from the D zone, wins a battle. Anthony Ciu draped all over him. He gets rid of it. Give and go hockey. Takes it up this near side. Goes across the body of Mrazek right underneath that left pad. And he sends his Blues fan base home happy after a 2-0 deficit. And the Blues claw back and get their first win of the preseason.
They do get their first win. It is a 3-2 overtime win over the Chicago Blackhawks. And again, one more preseason meeting between these two teams. And they will not meet again in the regular season until the Winter Classic at Wrigley Field on New Year's Eve. Blues over to Blackhawks by a score of 3-2 tonight. For those tuning in on the Victory Plus app or the other video channels of both the Chicago Blackhawks and the St. Louis Blues, we thank you for sharing part of your Saturday night with us. It's a bright future for both these organizations, and we saw some of it on display here tonight in St. Louis. For those of you on the radio side, stay tuned. We've got the post-game show coming up. And for the meantime, we say good night from downtown St. Louis.